Let's get nasty on a Thursday. No, on a Friday. I wish it was Thursday. Maybe we can repeat that Blues game. Try again. Yeah.
No, I'm happy that it's Friday, Anthony. I'm happy it's Friday.
So that we can push forward?
Well, because we have football tomorrow and it's the weekend.
All right, that's true. Let's fire things up here on a Friday in the fast lane. Carey, you with us?
I am with you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Can you see me?
I can't see you, but you know what? I feel your presence.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I see you, Carey.
You know what?
All right.
I see you on Marcia's computer now, so that's key. So
Okay.
Let's dive right into it. Blues were shut out on opening night for the first time in franchise history. 58 years. 58 years it took for the Blues to be shut out in their home opener. That was disappointing. Home streak snapped at 15 wins, 12 regular season and 3 playoff. Complete sellout crowd that really, I mean, they let the team have it heading into the second intermission. We'll hear from Monty. We'll dive into it. 5-0 loss. They did make a push in the second period from a shot standpoint, but it was ugly. It was ugly. Now, let's not insult anybody's intelligence here. It's one of 82. Okay? Just one. We realize it's only one game, so let's get the caveats out of the way. It's only one game. I get it. Also, I'm not going to placate just because we're the home of the Blues. You already know we're the home of the Blues. We root for the Blues. We want them to do well. All of us predicted them to go to the playoffs. We're all very high on them. That last night doesn't change that. But last night was disgusting, man. Last night was brutal. Last night was ugly. Couple of goals that really Binnington couldn't do anything about in the first period. But then it just got sloppy. The whole team was sloppy. Logan Mailloux, rough opener.
Yeah.
And it's not on just one guy, okay? So if I mention one guy, it's not on him. It's not all on him. I know. But Logan Mailloux, rough opener. Binnington, not great second, third period. Defensive miscues, not great. The scoring chances that the Wilds had were too great throughout that game.
It really didn't have, like, compared to the Blues had a ton of chances. They shot it right into the logo of Gus.
Mm-hmm. Including Snuggerud on the one power play.
No, it's not good, Carey. There's nobody in front of the net. They had their chances and they didn't score. But I did, at points throughout that game, I was like, man, they're really working the puck around in the offensive zone. Like, something's going to come here. I feel like if they just get one, the goals will start to come. And they never did.
No.
It was a tough season opener for sure.
Carey?
Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, you talked about the opportunities. I think in the second period, they had 15 shots on goal to the Wild's 5, and just the Wild were able to just continue to score and find ways to put the puck in the net. Whereas, the Blues had a few opportunities, but were unable to find that first goal. And I think if you are able to score a goal, specifically there in the first period, you probably put yourself in a better position to not let it spiral out of control in the way that it did. It is a disappointing loss. That's the bad news. The good news is it's just one loss. It doesn't count for 82. It doesn't count for 14. It doesn't count for 15. It's not the NFL where you only play once a week. You get to get right back on the horse tomorrow. So it's one loss. It was bad. Let's not mistake it. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not pretend like it wasn't what it was. But you get to get back right on it tomorrow night. So we'll see how it goes.
And, you got to credit Philip Gustafson. This is why they gave him the money that they did. He signed a 5-year contract at $34 million days before the opener. And he said it last night, he wanted to justify every cent. And he was actually a little nervous. Didn't seem like he was nervous last night. Stopped all 14 shots in the second period when the Blues really pushed. Stopped 26 shots on the night. First goalie in Wild history to record shutouts in 2 season openers, and the first active NHL goalie to accomplish that feat with any franchise. He was good last night. The Blues couldn't figure him out.
Well, and give credit to the players in front of him too. I thought the Wild, they played a very simple game. We talked about the Blues having a tough time going to the front of the net. That is on them for not getting there, but it's also a good job by the Wild for not allowing them to get in front of their netminder. I thought they didn't do anything crazy. Watching that game, I'm like, how are they up 5-0 right now?
Right.
based on what I was witnessing from an offensive standpoint, because none of it was flashy. It was good bounces. They just played a simple game and they got rewarded for it. Whereas opposed to the Blues, they were a little clunky, and that's the reason why it was a 5-0 game.
Right. Brian Hartman played his ass off too. I mean, not only did he scored 2.
I can't stand that guy.
I mean, he's got 9 career goals against Bennington now. 9 career goals. He won 10 of 14 faceoffs. Was +2 on the night. He's just trying to shoot the puck. I mean, it was a frustrating night given the fact that you had all of that hype and the energy going into the building. Everybody was excited for it, but it was rough all the way through. Well, what did Jim Montgomery had to say about his team?
I think our habits, special teams, our battle level on one-on-one battles wasn't at the level that we expect. And then I think the biggest difference was the battle at the net front. There's a process that we believe in, and a lot of those details and habits within our process cost us tonight.
The other thing that Monty said following the game was the Blues weren't taking away Gustafson's eyes. And I thought that was a key point. It goes to what you're saying, Marsh, about firing too many shots into the logo. They had open looks from Carey, had open looks for Holloway, but it lacked traffic. There was no traffic in front. There was no deception. The Blues weren't, Carey, they weren't getting the shots off, and the ricochets and some of the bounces, they weren't creating those like the Wild did.
Well, yeah, some of those bounces just fell in the lap of the Wild, and that's fortunate. You sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But the Blues just weren't able to have those opportunities. But sometimes when that's happening, you have to force those opportunities. You have to go to the front of the net. You have to be there and have body presence and get his eyes off of the shooter where he can't see it cleanly and clearly. So, and if you do get a rebound, you're there to put it right back in. So, I think all in all, there were some things that weren't as clean as I think the Blues would have liked yesterday. But going forward, again, it's just one game. It's unfortunate that it had to go that way and that bad that quickly. But it's one game. Yep. And before you get on the panic bus or starting it up, it's not that we're not there yet. So you want them to perform and compete a little bit better, but all in all, it's one time. And hopefully tomorrow night, they get it corrected.
Well, if it makes anybody feel any better, in the 2018-2019 season, we know that the Blues ended up winning the Stanley Cup that year. They lost to the Winnipeg Jets season opener by a final score of 5-1.
Oh, okay. Well,
now, the beginning part of that season was not great. However,
I don't want to live through that again.
However,
the second half, though,
they did win the Stanley Cup. So let's all take a breath here.
Sure.
There's 81 more games, hopefully more than that, of course. It was a tough night, but we will move past it.
We will rally around all of them. Yeah.
We can rally around him, too.
Sure.
We already did.
The other thing, too, is the Blues missed 17 shots last night. 13 of 18 skaters missed the net at least once. That's not going to happen in a typical game over and over again. So there are some things where you look at it and say, you know what, wasn't our night. It just happened to be game one. So that wound up being a frustrating aspect of things. What do you think of the line? Go ahead, Carey.
I was going to ask, do you all think that the lack of continuity during the preseason had anything to do with last night? I mean, I think Suter was with Holloway and Carey pretty much all preseason, correct? And then you kind of switched those, went back to a normal phase, a familiar in Shin. But do you think that had anything to do with kind of the continuity from the preseason?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to also know what the Wild did in the preseason. Did the Wild lack that continuity? Because they look organized last night. I don't know how they approached their exhibition games. I don't know how other teams approached it. It could have, CD. I don't want to dismiss your thought on that because it did look disjointed. But I also think you fired shots at the net and you either hit Gustafson right in his chest or you missed.
I thought it was disjointed defensively, whereas offensively, and we talked about it yesterday or maybe it wasn't yesterday, it was 2 days ago, about the scoring questions. I thought the offense for a majority of that game, I mean, they dominated in the offensive zone. The puck was in the second period. Carey mentioned it, the shots. I think the goal that they scored was the first shot on net in that second period for the Wild. Like the Blues had possession of the puck in the offensive zone. It felt like for a majority of that game, they just couldn't score.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with not getting to the front of the net. They know that, and I wholeheartedly believe they'll clean that up.
Well, the Blues are at Calgary tomorrow. The pregame show will start right here on 101 ESPN at 2 o'clock. The puck will drop at 3 o'clock. Again, right here on your home of the Blues Radio Network. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey's here until 4 o'clock. Then he has some Illini duties to TV or radio-wise to accomplish. And you got the big game tomorrow between Ohio State and Illinois. Of course, you got Mizzou and Bama. We'll cover it all throughout the course of the day, but we're going to stick with the Blues because Jeremy Rutherford, I think he's coming in studio. So JR will be with us in studio, talk about what he saw last night here on 101 ESPN.
Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford, on 101 ESPN.
JR is brought to you by Evergreen Wealth Strategies, helping everyday people every day. Visit evergreen-ws.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis, live from his hotel in Champaign, and Andrew Marsh here in the studios. I'm Anthony Stalter. And speaking of in the studios, our guy Jeremy Rutherford is here, and he's coming off the game last night, of course, at Enterprise Center. And JR, it's always good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. CD, what hotel? When I was in Champaign those 4 years I covered the Illini, I would drive up and stay the weekend. I was at a Courtyard Marriott. I'm thinking you're not at a Courtyard Marriott.
Yeah, it's called the Hotel Royer. I don't know how long it's been around, but it's a pretty nice hotel.
That's good.
All right, so JR, let's do the autopsy here. Rough night last night. I don't even know where to start. Was it do you think it was as bad as the final score indicated in terms of the Blues being completely outplayed in multiple areas, sloppy, or was it just couple of bad bounces early and it's just unraveled?
I think somewhere in between. It wasn't as bad as the 5-0 score, but I don't think it was just simply a couple bad bounces. I think it was probably in between. You know, the second period, they had the first 14 shots of the period. I know there are a couple power plays mixed in there, but, you know, there were a couple bounces Minnesota got, and they got the big lead, and they were able to play like they had the lead. But I do think big picture overall there were some glaring issues with the Blues in terms of what Jim Montgomery said after the game, not getting to the net of the front of the net, and no traffic, you know, the forecheck, you know, things like that were non-existent last night, and that's something that they were working on today.
JR, when you're looking at this game, we talked about Logan Mailloux. I'm on the road. Clearly, I forget whose turn is next.
It's all good. That's all right.
When you're looking at Logan Mailloux, what did you think of his performance last night? I know he had the pass into the skates of Tucker, which led to a goal, but what did you see from him in his first start as a Blue? Yeah,
a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and that's exactly what Jim Montgomery said today, and that was kind of to be expected. You know, there's a lot of excitement about Mailloux. He brings that with him from Montreal, but at the end of the day, he's only played 8 NHL games with the Canadiens before last night. So, you know, I felt like watching him in camp, and I wrote a lot of positive things about his play. Carey is, you know, he's a guy who can get up the ice. He's got a shot. He's got some good stick work in the back end. He's a guy who can do a lot of good things, but, you know, whether it be, you know, nervousness or you know, just kind of getting that first game out of the way with the Blues, we saw some situations last night where he could have been better too. But I did talk to Jim Montgomery and Logan Mailloux about that today, and, you know, they're going to work through that stuff. This is going to be, I think, a stretch of, you know, working with him on becoming the player that he can be. It's a new organization, it's new coaches, it's new everything, and there's going to be heightened expectations. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Zack Bolduc, 2 goals. Some people are going to say he has 3. They took 1 away, so it actually is 2. But that's going to be something that Blues fans keep an eye on for months to come, you know, whether it's fair or not fair. Yeah.
Every time
I think so.
Every time that Logan Mailloux does something slightly they don't like, they're gonna just check their phone and see how many goals Zack Bolduc has. We have Jeremy Rutherford in studio here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, you got a question, dude?
Yeah, I do. You know, one of the players that I think a lot of fans are excited to watch is Jimmy Snuggerud. We got a little bit of you know, we saw him last year at the tail end of the season. 1 game in, though, he starts off on the first line. Now he ends up dropping to the third line in the third period. Do you see that becoming a thing where maybe now he will be a part of that third line and now Jake Neighbors is bumped up to the first line? Is that some concern for you, or do you think that was just, we're not really having any offense going right now. Let's try and switch some things up.
Yeah, I think it's probably the last part, especially just game 1. You know, if you see it where, you know, it's happening in Calgary, happening in Vancouver in the next couple of games, then yeah, for sure it's going to become a thing. But they saw last year that he can play that role. He can be on that top line with Thomas and Buchnevich, or else they wouldn't start out like that this year. But Jim Montgomery felt like Neighbors was jumping last night, so he switched him and he went up there. That's the one thing with Jake Neighbors is I really do think he can play top 6. And, some people say on a Stanley Cup team, he might be a third-line guy. But, the coaches aren't going to be afraid to pop him up there, especially if the offense isn't going. So you're talking down 3-0, down 4-0. I think last night wasn't a situation Snuggerud wasn't delivering. It was just Monty wanted to mix things up.
Was there anything that, and look, it's only one game, but was there anything that did stand out as concerning? Where you can say, hey, look, this might not just be a one-game sample. This is something that I think we need to pay attention to in the early going.
Yeah, not really, just because it's so early. But to me, and I'm going to write about this, I think that this team, and I know they get it, but it needs, I think, some reminding, is that this team is going to live and die on what this core group does. We can talk about the Snuggeruds, the Mayhews, these guys. Yeah, their day is going to come, and it might come sooner than later. But if this team is going to be third place in the Central Division, like myself and some other people have predicted that they could finish, Anthony, it's got to be Thomas, Buchnevich, Shen, Parayko, Jim Montgomery threw Falk and Fowler into that. Jordan Binnington, last night, not super sharp. Not all the goals were his fault, but not super sharp. Those are the guys that are going to take this team to third place or the wild card if they're going to make it. And I point that out because net front presence and going to the net and getting second and third chances, that's a thing that veterans do. That's a will thing. That's not a strategy. That's not, the coaches need to teach you how to do that. So those veterans, that group that I talked about, they have to show that willingness to be able to go and do that. And if they don't, the Snuggerud's not going to score 40 and get you in the playoffs. So, so that's something that's a little bit concerning, but again, just one game.
JR, that was going to be my question. It seems like every year we talk about net front presence, and I guess it's just a will or a want to do it. Why is it not something that people are not willing to do on a nightly basis? I played fullback. I definitely didn't want to block Ray Lewis, but I had to, right? It was part of the job description. Why is that a conversation week in and week out or night in and night out about getting in front of the net?
Yeah, you're right. And it should not be a conversation, especially home opener, 18,096 folks, and expectations for the season, a good training camp. You got Monty from there day one. We've talked about all that thing, and then the first game, you don't want to go to the net. And we saw, what did Minnesota do? That's how they got their goals. I mean, yeah, there were a couple bounces, but it's because they were going to the net. So, I'm not saying let's give them 5-10 games to show us that they want to go to the net. Hey, let's just wait till tomorrow in Calgary at 3:00. But I think that you're right. If they've talked about it for years and we've seen it at times, you need to see it on a regular basis. It's not an easy thing to do, but they know that if they want to win hockey games, they have to do it, and it wasn't there.
So I want to take a page out of TMA's playbook and go to the text line with JR. I know he loves the Air Comfort Service text line.
Two-parters?
No two-parter here, actually. It's not even a question. It's more so of a statement. I want to get your opinion on it. FedEx Colton says, I love/hate to say this because I'm a Kyrou honk. He was the only Blues player that looked dynamic last night. What did you think of Jordan Kyrou's play?
Yeah, it's funny that on TMA, the first question is always a Kyrou question, too. So, so here we go, straight to the Kyrou question. Yeah, I think he had some moments. Sometimes I think maybe he gets a little too cute when he's, trying to toe pick guys or cut to the middle, but he can do that. If it works, it works. He scores the goal, and we're saying, yeah, that's awesome. That's Jordan Kyrou. So, yeah, out of the guys that, I kept an eye on last night, I felt like he was noticeable at times.
Mm-hmm. And he had a couple opportunities, the breakaway opportunity, and then he took one to the front of the net. But I mean, all in all, Gustafson, and you brought it up in the first segment, Anthony, he was awesome. He's no slouch. He is a good goaltender.
He was great, and so was Minnesota's defense. You mentioned the guys in front of him. I mean, Gustafson signed the big deal. They wanted to reward him because they believed in him. And he turns around, he says that he was a little nervous. He wanted to showcase what he can do, and he wanted to earn every cent of it, and he did. Now, the Blues did misfire on, I had 18, the number, 18. 13 of 18 skaters missed the net at least once. So there's a little bit of is that going to happen every night? No. You mentioned they got to get to the front of the net. They will. I also think we need to, as much as we hate to, just give a hat tip to the Minnesota Wild last night, specifically their defense and Gustafson.
Yeah, no, he was good. The one thing we pointed out, I'm sure you guys have too, is just too many shots. I think Marshy and I were sitting next to each other at the game last night. Just too many shots right there in the belly. for Gustafson. You're going to have nights where you're able to pick the corner, and the Blues didn't do that last night. And maybe you get on into the game and it's 3-0, 4-0, and you're just trying to put it on net and get some rebounds.
Sure.
But he had a lot where he just saw it right into his stomach.
JR, we'll get you out on this one, but somebody did ask, would you change anything heading into Calgary tomorrow?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily change anything, but the Blues are going to have to, just because of an injury. It looks like Toropchenko's out, or questionable, I should say, upper and lower body. So the only part that he's not hurting is the mid section of the body. And
I think that still qualifies for the upper, right?
And they're going to make a change. It looks like Texier will go up to the third line where Matthew Joseph was last night. He'll play that right wing with Neighbors and Suter on that third line. And then Joseph will slide down left wing on that fourth line. So that'll be the change for tomorrow night.
And I know you got a piece up right now at The Athletic, and you said you're working on one where you talk about how the veterans need to step up as the young guys settle in. Now, is that coming out tonight or tomorrow?
Probably tomorrow. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd work on that after this and get that out. And I want to be clear here, obvious statement. I mean, hey, you're good players, you're veterans, your high-paid players have to deliver. I just think it's worth reemphasizing, especially like, and Carey talked about it too, is when there are areas where it takes a willpower, like that's your veterans. Like the young guys have to see that from the veterans,
Sure.
And then it rubs off on everybody. And that's just one area, one game. Bigger picture, there's a lot of areas with this team where they're going to need to be good, and those guys have to step up. And the biggest thing, Anthony, is you can't ease into the season. You can't 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're into the season. Now we'll get it going. Like Jim Montgomery said it best today. Teams in this league, good teams, they can't lose 2 games in a row. If they do, you got to get pissed off about it. He said he wants the Blues to show up tomorrow in Calgary with a scowl, and the mantra is we're not going to lose 2 in a row, and that's where the veterans come in.
That's Jeremy Rutherford. You can follow him on X at JP Rutherford, and of course check out his great work at The Athletic. And we love having JR in our studios or on the phone each and every Friday, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, it's right next to Potbelly, so I stopped by
I don't
here.
blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Get yourself a Sando. All right, that's JR, and we'll talk to him next week. Thanks,
See you,
bud.
boys.
All right. Carey kept telling us nothing to worry about with the Eagles. Now can we be concerned?
Nah.
Oh, Marsh and I are going to raise some concerns. That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. We just got done talking with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. Speaking about the Blues, 5-0 loss to the Minnesota Wild to start the season. It's all right. The Blues back in action tomorrow, trying to bounce back and find their first victory of the season. They'll take on the Calgary Flames. Pregame starts at 2 o'clock. Puck drop is at 3. And, of course, you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. There was another game last night. The New York Football Giants. They defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 34-17. Now, can we worry about the Eagles? We'll discuss it next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We're just not very good right now. That's Lane Johnson talking about his team, and I completely agree with him. It's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis, who is at his hotel in Champaign ahead of the big game tomorrow between the Illinois Fighting Illini and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter, appreciate you joining us on a Friday. Eagles suffered a 34-17 loss to the Giants, marking their second loss in 5 days. The defeat was their first 2-game losing streak since the 2023 season, which ended, as we know, disastrously as they collapsed and then lost to the Bucks in the wild card round. The loss was described as their worst since an upset by Arizona on New Year's Eve in 2023. Their offense continues to struggle. In their past 3 second halves, 14 points, 242 yards. Against the Giants, they went scoreless last night in the second half, multiple 3-and-outs and 2 turnovers. Yet, Carey, you say, you know what? Don't panic. I'm not concerned about the Eagles. So why not?
Last night was not a great game, right? It didn't end well. It didn't go well. I think I've heard that they cannot run the ball. It's not that they cannot run the ball. Saquon Barkley is rushing for 4.5, 5 yards a carry, which means you can actually run the ball. You just have to be stubborn and be willing to do so. I said yesterday he needed to have 20 to 25 touches. I think he got 15.
12.
Well, touches, carries.
Oh, I'm sorry. Carey's got 12 touches. My bad.
So when I say touches, rushes and receptions.
And receiving, of course. Yep. My bad.
He needs to have 20 to 25 at bare minimum, and he's not getting that. And it's because the offense is just not. It's not in sync. And so what starts to happen when you have an offense, when you have a receiver or anybody complaining about not getting the ball or not getting their touches. Now you have quarterbacks starting to force the ball there. On that play and it's it was a terrible pass by Jalen Hurts. First of all, you're in the red zone. You're on the plus 15. You're in field goal range. It's a 10-point game at that point. At worst, you come out of that situation with 3 points, and now you're a touchdown, from tying the game up. You throw that interception. You try to force the ball to A.J. Brown on the sideline. On that same play, Devontae Smith is running right up the seam, wide open for a walk-in touchdown. So sometimes what happens is, as a quarterback, as a play caller, you start to try to put the ball in places to the people that are asking for it. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, and you're trying to get him the ball because he is a playmaker. A.J. Brown is one of your guys. But you got multiple guys on that team, which is why you were able to win a championship last year. You got a bunch of guys that can get the ball in their hand. Dallas Goedert had over 100 yards receiving. He had 9 receptions. So you got a lot of guys that you have to get the ball to, and what you have to have is an unselfish team. You have to have a quarterback that says, hey, man, I'm going to get you the ball, but I'm going to throw it to the person that's open. I'm going to make the right decision. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm going to throw it to you because I want to. But at the end of the day, the person that should be getting the bulk of those touches, nobody should have more touches than Saquon Barkley, because he's going to run the ball for 20-plus times, and he's going to catch 4 or 5 of them out of the backfield. So for me, it starts there. You have to be stubborn in how you're going about your game plan and saying, I have to find a way to get this man the ball, because what that does is it brings more people in the box. And what that does, receivers that are complaining about not being open or not getting opportunities, you got less people on the back end that are there to cover you. So stick with the game plan and be stubborn enough to run the ball with one of the best running backs in the league. And your team will be better, in my opinion. So do I think it's a terrible loss? Let's say that. Let's be honest and be open about that. But I don't think that their season is over. Last I checked, I believe they're still 4-2, if I'm not mistaken. And they're still probably leading the division, if I'm not crazy. So
they're leading the division right now just because of the imbalance in the schedules. They've played 6 games. Most teams have played 5 or less.
Yeah,
they would be the 4th seed right now in the NFC playoff picture. Of course, that means absolutely nothing in the middle of October. But it does show you, like, hey, things aren't going well right now. Now, when they opened up the game and Saquon had an 18-yard run and then a 13-yard run, I go, okay, it's going to be a Saquon game. It's exactly why I took the over on his 18 carries last night. I thought they were going to completely feature him. Here we go. And then the offense sputtered in the red zone. They wound up settling for 3. They had the back and forth in the first quarter, and then the second half went completely away from it. Now, Carey, the only thing I would disagree on is when you say, they can run the ball, they just got to find a rhythm and stick with it. I think the offensive line is banged up and ineffective right now. They tried to get the ball a couple of times to Saquon Barkley, who's met at the line of scrimmage. You know better than anybody because you played the position at the highest level. There's nothing you could do if a defensive tackle, defensive end, or a linebacker is meeting you head up in the hole. It's just there's nothing. So when I watch the Eagles, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a team that can't really run the ball right now, can't really protect Jalen Hurts. I think the offensive line is the biggest problem. And then we can go to, like you said, the play calling as of right now, just because of the offensive philosophy. Maybe they're out of rhythm and all that. But I think the problems actually start up front.
See, that's where we disagree because
Sure.
if I'm looking at the stats, 12 carries for 58 yards, 4.8 a carry, that's pretty damn good football. Like that is you got to get more carries. Yes, you're going to have times when you get stopped in the backfield. Those guys, as I say, are on scholarship as well. They play defense. They work all week to try to stop the run. That's their job. You're going to have, and I think it was in that third quarter where you had a couple of those runs where Saquon never really got going in the backfield. And from that point on, it's like the OC, we can't run the ball anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got 58 yards from him rushing. Only on 12 carries, 4.8. You're going to have those runs that get stopped in the backfield. Then you're going to have runs that get you 12 yards. That's how you end up with the 4.8. And then you know what happens? Those 12-yard runs later in the game become 25-yard runs. They become 45-yard runs. They become touchdown runs down in the red zone because there's no one that wants to continue to tackle an athlete like Saquon Barkley. The frustration for me as a running back and as a guy that coached football and has coached running backs, you got to give those guys the ball. You got to give those guys the carries to continue to do what they need to do and allow your offensive line to lean on people. You don't want to have negative runs. If you get tackled in the backfield for a 3-yard or 4-yard loss, that's not good. Mm-hmm. But if I'm getting tackled at the line of scrimmage or I'm getting 1 yard, it's like when I watch football with my girlfriend, she's like, why are they running it up the middle? You got to run it up the damn middle sometimes, man. You got to. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, I know. It's football. We're going to get it done eventually. You got to do it. It's not sexy. It's not pretty, but you got to go take that 2 or 3 yard gain in order to get the 18, 20, 25 yard gain. And I think sometimes, especially with this offensive coordinator and what the Eagles are doing, and you've seen it with the Baltimore Ravens when Lamar was healthy as well. Mm-hmm. They think because we got stopped at the line of scrimmage, we can't run the ball. That's not the case. We can run the ball. You just got to do it more, and you have to be stubborn and willing to do it. Offensive linemen would much rather run the football than sit back and pass because now they can go forward. They can dictate. They can kind of lean on people and do what they want to do as opposed to setting back and having the defense be able to dictate what's going on. So run the ball, man. Stop being, just run the ball. I think the Eagles, if they decide to run the football, are fine.
Well, regardless of what you think of the offense, you cannot give up 34 points to an offense that features a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back that does not have their star wide receiver, that is coached by a guy that we thought would be fired 2 weeks ago. You can't. A team that lost to New Orleans
we won't
last
disagree
week.
with that.
Yeah.
I won't disagree with you on that. They were Cam Scatterboot and Zach Bond had they met. And Zach knows exactly who Cam is. I call him Scam. Who Cam Scatterboot is?
Cam Scatterboot from
Arizona State.
That a baby.
Yeah, he runs the ball hard, man.
He does.
And that defense looked bad defensively against the run.
Well, yeah, and the Eagles, and this isn't an excuse. This is what happened. I mean, full stop after this. Worst defensive performance under Vic Fangio. Full stop on that. They're also missing Jalen Carter and Quinion Mitchell. I mean, the defense looked completely lost. Now, should they look lost against the Giants? No. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart has been impressive at times this year. He's kept drives alive. He scored the first touchdown last night when he found a lane. I mean, he adds obviously a different aspect than what Russell Wilson does. But Cam Scatterboot, you kind of know what he's going to do. He's just going to try to bowl you over, and if you don't gang tackle him, you're going to have issues. And again, no excuses, but they were beat up. The thing that was shocking to me last night is the thing that Cooper DeJean pointed out, which is that the Giants were the more physical team. The Giants were the more physical team than the Eagles last night. The Super Bowl champion Eagles. That can't happen. I do think they'll fix things. Carey, you're right. Ultimately, long season, they're going to be fine. But I think that O-line's a problem, and that's where, Carey, you and I will be on opposite ends of the island on this one. But we'll see what they do next
week.
If
I'm getting 5 yards of carry, coach, why the hell am I not getting the ball? That's my question. When I get to the sideline, well, you got stopped. I'm getting 5 yards of carry, coach. Give me the ball. It'll pop eventually.
Hey, Carey?
Yeah.
Should have given him the ball at least 19 times last night.
I agree.
At least 19.
No, you know what they should have done? They should have thrown him the ball instead of A.J. Dillon. Because A.J. Dillon got 18 yards and Saquon got 9. Yeah.
Oh, so we both took the L on Saquon last night, huh? Okay, good. Feeling good. All right, that's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh has What's Trending. We got to get into one of the biggest blunders in sports history, which occurred last night. That's next on 101 ESPN.
topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending? Brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, I have a question for you, and it's actually a scenario. I want to know what you would do in this situation. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Bottom of the 11th. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Obviously, it's a tie game. Your season is on the line if the team that you're facing off against scores a run. You're on the mound. You throw the ball, and that ball comes right back to you.
Uh-huh.
Now, it might hit your foot, Anthony.
Sure.
But you have time.
Don't panic.
Where are you throwing that baseball?
Well, I'm calmly picking it up and, of course, slinging it to first base, of course.
To get out of the inning and keep your season alive.
Probably not throwing it to home.
Whoa. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Like Orion Kerkering did last night for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm sure most of you saw it. But last night, as Marsh just laid it out, 11th inning, bases jammed, 2 outs. Kerkering gets exactly what he wants, which is a ground ball, comebacker to him. He had plenty of time to pick it up and throw it over to first base, but he said, once the pressure got to me, I just thought there's a faster throw to JT, meaning JT Realmuto, the catcher. Little quicker throw than trying to cross-body it to Bryce Harper. He said, just a horse bleep throw. I feel for him. He's a 24-year-old kid. Can't happen, though. It just can't.
No.
It's sad. Sad for the guy. I feel bad for the kid. He's 24 years old. Pressure cooker moment. But you have to calmly pick it up in that spot and throw it over to first base. And he didn't. He kind of panicked. JT Realmuto, as Marsh was just pointing out in the studio, was pointing over to first base. And then he airmailed that thing. See, that's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man, because that is something that, will stick with you for the rest of your life. And it is a panic moment. He's probably done that play hundreds of times in his life, but never in an ALDS, never in the bottom of the 11th inning, never in Dodger Stadium. What'd I say? AL? NLDS.
Yeah.
Never in that situation, right?
Yep.
And you don't know what you're going to do until you're in that situation. He panicked, and it was a mistake. And it's something. Here's the thing: when something like that happens, it will never leave you.
No.
Like he can be a Hall of Famer. He can have a Hall of Fame career. He can be one of the greatest pitchers to ever ever lace him up. Right? He could be the best one to ever do it. That moment will never leave him. Just like that moment for Mark Andrews, was it last year where he drops the ball against the Bills? That's never leaving him. Then he goes on and wins 3 or 4 Super Bowls. It's never leaving. Bill Buckner, like those situations, it's a mistake. It's something. But you know what I love most? This is what I love about sports. This is what I talk about when I talk about a locker room. Every man on that team came and consoled them. Right? They understand. It was not intentional. It was a mistake. It was something that, we and in life and in everything, in every walk of life, everything we do, we all have made a mistake that we look back on and said, damn, that was dumb. Why the hell did I do that?
Yep.
Most of us don't have 24, 25, 30 other people around us to say, hey, man, it's okay.
Right.
We deal with that in our own space, our own bubble, and sometimes it's public, sometimes it's not. But that's what I love about sports is the manager waiting on them. Come here, we good. Our playoff lives are over. Our season is over. This team, as we know it, as it's constructed, will not be the same next year. No team going into the following year is ever the same. Free agency, trades, retirement, all those things. People get waived, cut. It's never going to be the same team. But what I love about sports is that those people sat there and they were there for him in that moment because
well said.
He'll never forget that. But he'll also never forget all of the people that were there to help him and hug him and say, man, we love you. We're proud of you. Good job. Nothing we can do about it. It's over.
And to your point, Carey, It's unfortunate because as a fan base, you will always remember that specific moment. But as a team, those guys know, hey, I could have done better. I could have done something else that didn't even put him in that situation where it's not bases loaded in the 11th inning. You know, maybe if I would have gotten a base hit here, if I could have driven in that run.
Sure.
I mean, this is going back to game 1.
Yeah, where they blew a 3-0 lead. Sure.
You know, you win game 3, but that series wasn't lost essentially with that one play. The Phillies had opportunities throughout that entire series to win other games, and they didn't.
Yep.
And that falls on other players in whatever specific moment that happened within that specific game. It's just unfortunate because this is the moment. It was such a bad blunder that we will really never forget this type of moment, and it sucks for them.
I feel
it really does.
I think about him waking up this morning because all you wanted to do is just go away, and instead, like CD said, you're going to live with it.
And it doesn't help that the team he plays for in the city that he plays for is a ruthless fan base.
Who had a rough night last night.
They did, even in the NHL.
Did they Flyers lose too?
I think so.
Okay. So, and I hate to do this because, again, I do feel bad for the kid, but where does the Kerkering error, the wild throw, rank? You got Bill Buckner's error, of course, in the 1986 World Series. You've got Chris Webber in the timeout in the NCAA title game in 93. You got the Ernest Biner fumble in the AFC Championship game, 1988. Like, some of these other ones are just kind of gaffes. Like, the butt fumble is a gaff, but the Jets were getting like they weren't going to win that game. It was a regular season game. It was a lost season. The butt fumble thing was more of a he's remembered for it, unfortunately, but it wasn't a clinching scenario. Leon Lett, his mistake, not with Don Beebe in the Super Bowl, but the Thanksgiving gaff where he slides in the
Dolphins.
Yeah, slides in the end zone against the Dolphins. Scott Norwood, wide right.
Listen, man, it never goes away. I'm certain of that for these players. It never goes away. I know this personally because I have a teammate that had a situation that took place in a critical game, and it never goes away. It sticks with you, and all you can do is support them, love them, and tell them, hey, man, you had a hell of a career.
Yep.
Even if that's the only play, you made it to the big leagues. You made it to the National Football League. You made it to the NBA. And that in itself is an amazing feat. So, but it never goes away. Right? It will stay with you for the rest of your life until you don't let it define you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you can do as a player because people will always remember that moment. And again, this is why I always say not one play wins or loses you a game. It's an accumulation of all of the plays to get you to that point. Like you said, Marshall, you could have somebody on the Phillies roster could have hit a ball, could have driven in a run, could have taken a walk, could have made a better play in the field, could have put themselves in a better position, whether in that game or game 1, 2, 3, or that one, to not end up in that situation. So this is why, I love sports because I just love watching teammates support one another and be there to hold them down when they feel like the world is caving in on them.
In terms of ranking this one, I don't know if you can really put it up there with some of the ones that you mentioned just because it was the National League Division Series. Wasn't even Game 5. It was Game 4. So the Phillies, it's not like it was the World Series, right? There was one play that comes to mind, if you remember Arkansas in the College World Series, where they had a pop fly foul ball. That little miscommunication, ball drops. They could have won it.
Yeah.
They ended up losing because they didn't catch a pop fly foul ball.
Right.
Like that one stings, in my opinion. I'm sure for Arkansas fans more so than this one. If this was like the World Series or a chance to go to the World Series, Game 7, whatever it may be, I think we would rank it a little bit higher. But, the Dodgers could have got a base hit there. They still could have won the game.
Sure. Yeah.
So
could have got out of that and then won it in 12.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Couple of still angry Blues fans, including Splashback Deuce, who said, kind of like blowing a 2-goal lead with one minute left.
Oh,
Yeah,
what'd
that
you
was
do that
tough.
for?
John Score says the same thing, kind of like giving up a tying goal with 1.5 seconds.
Man, that's tough. That's two tough games within the span of a few months, Anthony, for the Blues.
Here's a Cardinal shot here, ellipsis 150. How about the Colton Wong pickoff at the end of the World Series game against Boston?
Yeah, that was tough.
Ouch.
That was tough. But you know what, though? There are players that have those moments and their team actually does good. Like Brad Lidge. Could you imagine if the Cardinals came back in the 2005 NLCS and won that series?
Right.
Like, how would Brad Lidge feel? But that team, they made it to the World Series. They got swept by the White Sox. But Brad Lidge ended up closing out a World Series with the Phillies in 2008. So he was able to redeem himself. Maybe this young man will be able to do the same sometime in his career.
Everybody deserves a redemption shot, and we all love a good redemption story. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Mizzou, Bama, our breakdown. Mizzou wins if. Mizzou will lose if. Our prediction, Mizzou, Alabama game next on 101 ESPN. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in Columbia. Mizzou will host Alabama for an opportunity to jump into the top 10, create more national headlines for themselves. I think this is going to be a fantastic weekend in football, and it really does start tomorrow with the two local games, Mizzou and Alabama, and Illinois and Ohio State. We will get into the Illinois-Ohio State game, but we're going to focus on the Mizzou-Alabama breakdown right now. For you guys, Gary Davis, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. By the way, 307, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The biggest storyline entering the game for Mizzou. Carey, what would be the biggest storyline entering the game for Mizzou from your perspective?
It's an opportunity to prove that you are the real deal. I mean, you've had this is going to be your 6th game of the season, all being at home. You've had some really good wins there, but some people feel like you haven't been challenged yet, and this would be a really good challenge for this Mizzou team. And is Ahmad Hardy the real deal? Is he able to? He's the 2nd leading rusher in the country. Is he going to be able to run downhill like he has been all season long, and find those seams, find those gaps, and create big runs for that offense? I think those two things are questions that are lingering for people around the country. I think Mizzou fans feel that that's already been asked and answered, but I think that those are two questions going into this game. Are you the real deal as a team, and is Ahmad Hardy the real deal at the running back position? And that can be answered. It'll be answered by about 2:30, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Marsh, biggest storyline entering the game for Mizzou.
Yeah, outside the Ahmad Hardy storyline, for me, I would go with, is Bo Pribula different? Is he different than some of the other quarterbacks that Mizzou has had in the past? And what I mean by that, I don't know if he needs to be the ultimate difference maker, but he is the leader of that offense, distributing the football. And you mentioned before that Alabama, they've had some trouble when it comes to mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
We know that Bo Pribula can use his legs. If there's nothing open, and for whatever reason, Alabama is stopping the run when it comes to Ahmad Hardy, can he be the difference maker and just be that quarterback that takes Mizzou to the next level? We've seen it from other quarterbacks in the past where Mizzou has been so close to being in the national championship conversation. You know, back in, 2007? Chase Daniel, right? They beat Kansas, but they can't get over Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game. I believe 2013, they take on Auburn, a chance to go to the national championship. They can't get it done.
Yep.
I'm not saying this is the national, if you win this game, you're in the national championship conversation.
A big game. How do they perform?
Though. Big game. How do they perform? A lot of people have high expectations and are saying a lot of things about Bo Pribula. I think this week he can really prove those people right and prove some of the doubters wrong.
So I'm kind of with you guys, both you guys, in terms of the biggest storyline entering the game for Mizzou for me. Each season, every game, it takes on its own identity. It's got its own feel. It's got its own storyline and all that. But I'm a human being, and I get drawn to what happened previously. And I remember sitting there on a Friday, similar to today, ahead of when Mizzou traveled to College Station last year. And I realize it's a different team, led by a different quarterback, a different outstanding running back. But the questions still remain. Can Mizzou win its first massive test? They've had big games thus far. Like they've had challenges thus far. But this is by far their biggest challenge. It's Alabama, who beat you last year because you had a bunch of injuries, including a Brady Cook early in that game, and the wheels fell off. But it's Alabama, who has looked fantastic since they lost to Florida State in week 1, coming to your house. Can you step up? Can you win a game that you're, an underdog at the betting window? And can you jump into the national landscape? So that's my biggest storyline. All right, CD, Mizzou wins if.
Mizzou wins if they don't give up big plays on the back end. the Alabama Crimson Tide got a couple of guys, I don't know if you know this, that they can go get the ball. Bernard and Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams. They are pretty good receivers, and they'll go get the ball if they need to. So Mizzou wins if they can eliminate or prevent those huge chunk plays. And obviously the answer to every question every time you ask this is take care of the football and create turnovers on defense. If you're able to do those things, generally speaking, you can win games if you win the turnover battle and eliminate big plays. So that for me would be the answer for that. Marsh?
Yeah, I was thinking the secondary. That's been kind of a question mark, I think, for us, and Carey just highlighted that. You can't get down early, man. Like, I know they got down to Kansas at home early. They were able to, find a way out of that one. This is a different team. So don't give up the big plays early. Keep the crowd in it. Do you think that if this is a one-score game come the fourth quarter and either way, do you think Mizzou gets it done? Or is this one of those things where, like, Mizzou needs to be in control of the game the entire way?
I don't think they have to be in control the entire way. I do think they have to seize control in the second half, specifically in the fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter is a standalone game, assuming, of course, that you get to it and it's a one-score game, right? But for me, Mizzou wins this game. Yes, and Carey, you already highlight this, and you piggybacked Marshall. I don't need to expound anymore. Look, my biggest concern about Mizzou is giving up the big play. South Carolina was able to strike for the big play. Kansas was able to strike for big plays. They even had they had a first down on that fourth down throw deep into the fourth quarter against Mizzou earlier this year, and the kid dropped it on the sidelines. The big plays have been open. So can they solve the big play issues? That is one. Mizzou wins this game, though, if Hardy dominates the line of scrimmage. If Mizzou's O-line, which I do think will open up lanes against Alabama's front seven, if Hardy can dominate like he has, long, sustained drives, chew up the clock, keep Ty Simpson off the field, Hardy leads the nation in rushing, right? And, of course, like CD said, Bo Pribula protects the ball. No giveaways, completes early throws, takes the pressure off the run. I think Mizzou can seize control of this game and give them opportunity to win this thing in the fourth quarter. That's where I'm at on this. Mizzou will lose if it doesn't, CD?
If it doesn't take care of the football and if it doesn't protect Bo Pribula. If you getting hit in the face and you have no opportunity to throw the ball downfield, if you have to throw short route and short concepts, if you don't have time to try to attack that secondary and get those chunk plays, is going to be bad. And if the offensive line does not do their job up front, you talked about Ahmad Hardy. If he runs the ball well, that's conversely if he doesn't, and if you don't protect the quarterback, those two things are very detrimental for this Mizzou Tiger football team this Saturday.
Marsh, Mizzou will lose if?
Well, I think this is going to be a close game, and I will say Mizzou will lose if they don't manage the clock well. We get a text from the 314. Still coached by Drinkwitz. I don't know if the Duke can win a big game.
Oh, damn.
We've seen in the past maybe some clock management issues.
What?
Just saying.
They won that game, Marsh.
Well, they
Grow
did.
up.
No, they have.
I'm sorry. I get passionate when I talk about the Tigers. Go ahead. I apologize.
We'll grow up. I'll grow up right before your eyes. Anthony.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I like I said, I think it's going to be a close game, and how you manage the clock in the late portion of the first half. If you have the ball, man, maybe those 3 points that you can snag at the end of the first half could end up being the difference maker. Mm-hmm. Same at the end of the game. So that's something that I'm thinking about that we haven't mentioned yet. But I think this is going to be a fun game.
I do too. Now we'll get to the prediction here in a second. I'll throw my 2 cents in here. Mizzou will lose if it doesn't. I'm going to say get home. Get home on Ty Simpson.
They're at home already.
No. See, just to clarify. No, I understand.
They haven't played. They've been this is the 6th game.
Guys, I understand the confusion on this. What I mean is get home to the quarterback. If Zion Young, if McClellan, if the front seven, whoever's bringing the pressure for Mizzou, if they don't get home on Ty Simpson, you're allowing those big plays. I mean, it's just going to be a feast. I do think, though, that Georgia, which couldn't get any pressure on Ty Simpson, and even Florida State, I think Mizzou has a much better front seven and much better opportunity to pressure Ty Simpson than those two other teams.
Do you think that because this game is so early, there's less pressure for Mizzou? I know that's a weird question because this is such a big game, but if this was a primetime, like 6 to 7:30 type game on ABC at night. I mean, do you think that changes anything?
I think it might matter sometimes in the first half, but I don't give credence to that over the course of a full game. For example, like I'd be interested to see what UCLA does going from UCLA to East Lansing and playing an early game. I do think that the impact is there in the first half.
Okay.
But once you settle in, and Carey, you can probably talk to this better than I can, but once you settle in, you get to halftime, I think you can kind of throw that out the window. What do you think?
I think UCLA played their best game they're ever going to play this year.
So take Michigan State tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Prediction time. Marsh, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go with, man, I'm trying to think of a score here, too, because I heard earlier BK say he thinks the over is going to hit. So I'm trying to think of a score, and I don't know if there's a BKO associated with the over.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go with, 31-27 MIZ.
ZOU. CD.
Wow.
Your prediction.
Oh, man. Hey, you don't want my prediction. They don't want my prediction, man. They don't want me to be the hater, man.
Carey, what's your prediction on this game?
They don't want my answer. Do they?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yes.
They need someone to hate,
27-21.
Carey.
27-21.
Ooh, so Mizzou cover?
You didn't tell us who has the 27, who has the 21.
Use your imagination.
No, you say
Your
it.
favorite team, your favorite team has 27. Huh? That work?
Nope.
Okay. 27-21 Alabama. Roll damn tide, huh?
Wow, dang.
Don't cover.
Yeah, it makes sense, though, from a Illini fan. Yeah. My prediction, this will be high scoring. I don't think that BK just BKO'd the over. I think Mizzou wins 34-31. I think this is going to be a fun game. And I think the offenses get rolling a little bit. I think Ahmad Hardy and the ground game gets going, but Bo Prabula can come away with a couple of big runs and keep the drive sustained. I do think, unfortunately, Ty Simpson will start to connect on some of the big plays, too. But Mizzou wins 34-31 tomorrow in Columbia. M-I-Z.
Z-O-U. That doesn't sound right.
Speaking of Illinois and Carey's alma mater, let's do the Illinois-Ohio State breakdown next on 101 ESPN. last night on 101 ESPN, so we just broke down the Alabama and Missouri game. Let's get into the Illinois-Ohio State game, and we'll follow a similar format. CD, you're Illini.
Yep.
Facing Ohio State. Biggest storyline for Illinois entering the game is?
Man. Can Luke Altmaier make the big plays downfield? He's done a great job this year. The offensive line has had some issues, but the last couple of weeks they got everything, I think, corrected. Luke Altmaier's been playing outstanding. He's number 6 in the country, I believe, in passing yardage, and he's been playing phenomenal. I love watching this young man play. He is a treat to watch. He's really one of the toughest kids I've seen play the position. Loves the game of football, and he just gets after it. So, can Luke continue to make those big plays downfield and do what he's done all year? And that comes with protecting up front, being able to run the ball effectively enough to keep the defense honest. But him and Hank Beatty have figured out something offensively. And then defensively, man, they got 2 guys. I talked about how Alabama has a couple of guys in Bernard and Ryan Williams. Ohio State got a couple of guys that may be better. Jeremiah Smith, in my opinion, is the best wide receiver, best offensive player in college football. And then they have Cornell Tate, who is also an outstanding receiver as well. So they got a young quarterback in Julian Sayin, starting his first games this year, his first year as a starter, but he's been playing outstanding. You got to get after the quarterback. You got to eliminate big plays. But for me, Luke Altmaier being a difference maker, he threw for 390 yards, I believe, last week, really close to 400, had 2 back-to-back 300-yard games. So Luke has been outstanding. If you can get another one of those days from him, and he hasn't turned the ball over yet, so, we continue to knock on wood about that, but he's been playing phenomenal. I would love to see him have a big day and go off.
Marsh, your biggest storyline, Illinois, Ohio State.
Yeah, can Illinois change the narrative? Everyone right now looks at Illinois, and they remember them for that big loss against Indiana. If you can come out and play really well against Ohio State, I'm not saying that they have to win by any means. It does feel like a must-win, though. But if this is a close game, maybe that changes the narrative for some of the people in charge of that committee for the college football playoff. They look at this Illinois team. Maybe what happened against Indiana was more of a fluke rather than what they actually are. And they play a really good Ohio State team close. Perhaps they win the game. Things might change their outlook for the college football playoff, but I think that's the big storyline is Illinois' season could potentially be on the line. Can they change that narrative of what people think about them?
Mine is, can Illinois' balanced, efficient offense, led by Altmaier, that Carey just broke down, survive a full game against the depth and the defensive stout number 1 Buckeyes? Can Luke Altmaier, with all of his experience, keep Illinois in this game? So that's my biggest storyline. Big picture-wise, I think Marsh nailed it. Season's essentially on the line. Can you get a season-altering victory despite getting whipped a couple of weeks ago by Indiana? All right, CD.
Yep.
Illinois wins if
they score more points than the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Okay, come on, man.
No, they win if they play their game. I think, Marshy brought up the Indiana game, which was putrid. It wasn't good. It was not Illinois football as we know it under Brett Bielema. It was not sound on the back end. They didn't protect or run the ball particularly well offensively. They got a block punt, like every facet of football that you could think of, they lost in. So for me, they've been really good in special teams all year. Hank Beatty is a hell of a punt return specialist. He's done a great job this year. He's already scored a touchdown. If he can get a big play in the special teams game, if you can eliminate the turnovers, which we have done very well this year, and if you can create turnovers. Gabe Akins is a guy, keep an eye out on him. Keep an eye out for him. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback. So they win the game if they play sound in all 3 phases. I know that sounds simple as hell, but that's what they have to do. When you're playing a team as powerful, as potent as the Ohio State Buckeyes, all of the weapons that they have, all of the talent that they have across the board, they got a running back named Bo Jackson. That tell you everything you need to know. Like, they got guys.
I didn't think he had eligibility left.
Not that Bo. They got guys on this offense that get things done. So you got to play your game. You got to play the right way and win in all 3 phases. If you do that, you got a chance to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes this weekend.
Anthony, for me, Carey nailed it, though, when it comes to being simple, these statements sound so simple, but that's how you win football games. For me, it's control the time of possession. The best defense for your team is offense. If you don't allow Jeremiah Smith out on the field in that Ohio State offense, well, how are they going to score, guys? If you control the clock, it's very surgical. I like using that word, surgical. Then you can win this football game. You got to keep that offense off the field. And how do you do that? The best way to do that is to take care of the football, have long drives, and really burn the clock, and you have to score. You have to score touchdowns against this team. I think I forgot who said that this week when we were talking about this Illinois game. You have to score touchdowns. You can't settle for field goals.
Yeah.
And you got to control the clock.
I believe that was me.
Was it Anthony?
But it makes sense. You and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that, CD?
Nothing. I'm just listening, sir.
Okay.
All right.
I think Illinois, if they win the turnover battle, I also think if they win this game, they're going to have either a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown. They're going to have to swing the momentum at some point. I don't know if they could just simply control the clock with the run game and the short passing game and have these long sustained drives. It's just not realistic against Ohio State's defense. I think they're going to have to, again, they're going to have to win the turnover battle. They're going to have a special teams or defensive touchdown to steal a possession and to score back. And like Marsh just said that I noted, I think yesterday, the day before, you can't settle for field goals. I mean, you got to take the points against a stout defense, but you're going to have to find the end zone and not settle for threes more times than not. Illinois will lose if it doesn't, CD?
If it doesn't stop Jeremiah Smith from going off. I think, again, I said it earlier, I think he's, in my opinion, I honestly believe this. I think Ohio State has the best offensive player in college football in Jeremiah Smith and the best defensive player in college football in Caleb Downs. That's my opinion. Those two players are dynamic. They make things happen. They are ball hawks on the defensive side, and Jeremiah Smith is a guy that goes and gets the football and makes big plays every time he's around it. So the Illini don't win if they don't keep those two guys away from the football. It's plain and simple. Caleb Downs is going to find a way to peek his head in and try to knock a ball out or make a big play with an interception defensively. And Jeremiah Smith is going to find a way, if he can, to get into that end zone. You have to be able to – football is about players. And Ohio State, in my opinion, has two of the best players in college football. But you got to find a way to keep those guys limited in what they do if you want to win this game. If you don't want to lose this game, I should say.
Marsh?
Yeah, Illinois will lose if it doesn't have a little bit of luck on their side.
Ooh.
And I'm not saying that like in a negative way, but Carey, you mentioned you have to create turnovers. Maybe that's like a guy gets a finger on a ball, or maybe Ohio State doesn't get that first down because they're just a few yards short. Maybe there is a great block that happens and some guy, trips or something on a punt return or something like that. Like you have to find, sometimes in order to win, if you're the underdog, you have to have a little bit of luck involved. And I think that is the case when you go up against one of the best teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm. CD?
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
Score?
What's your prediction?
Illinois, 28-24.
Illinois wins 28-24?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Marsh?
Carey, you're not going to like this.
Nah, don't worry about it.
You're not going to like this at all.
Nah, okay.
I got Ohio State, Ohio State, winning 45-17.
45-17. Wow.
I will say this before you already made your pick. Ohio State does tend to start a little slow. However, the teams that have played against them haven't been able to score enough points in that first quarter and a half to make things, how they need to be. So start early if you're the Illini.
All right. Little disrespectful, Marsh. Little disrespectful.
Very disrespectful.
I got Illinois 20. Ohio State 38.
That's not better.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Slightly better.
Did I just text the Brewers? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. A tough one for the Blues last night. They lost to the Minnesota Wild in the season opener by a final score of 5-0. The Blues get a chance to grab their first win of the season tomorrow as they take on the Calgary Flames. Early game for you on a Saturday. We'll have it for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 2 p.m. Puck drop will be at 3. We also talked with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Well, the Cubs beat the Brewers last night in Game 4 of the NLDS. That series is now tied up at 2 apiece with a Game 5 looming tomorrow night. Man, those Brewers. Did Anthony jinx the Brewers? Or the Brewers about to brewer once again? We will talk about it next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, as Marsh just noted in the Sports Center update. I did, in fact, I think, curse the Brewers. I said they were a juggernaut, one-man wrecking, well, a full-team wrecking crew, and the Cubs suck Ola. Turns out we got a series, boys. Cubs blanked the Brewers last night 6-0, and perhaps I may have been a little premature saying the Brewers aren't going to brewer all over themselves in this postseason. Your thoughts, guys?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. I think if the Cubs come back and win this thing, they come back and win this thing, we can firmly put this on you and Bartman, right? You two Chicago natives are, well, I guess you're helping the Cubs this time. You're
well, I don't mean to.
Brewers. Man, you like the reverse Bartman then, huh?
Yeah, I guess I am.
You're the Brewers Bartman.
You're the Brewers Bartman.
Here's the thing. I would have caught that.
Anthony Bartman.
Anthony Bartman.
Old Anthony Bartman with his, I believe it was a Renegade sweater. Green.
Do you think
the jig is up?
No, not that. You were listening to the game while actually being
Carey.
at the game.
Yeah.
Perhaps you were a couple seconds behind.
A little bit. Anyways.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I think the Cubs are a good team. I think that's what this is. The Brewers have been a really good team all year long, but so are the Cubs. And if you thought that they were just going to roll over and die because they were down 2-0, I think that would be foolish. And they've shown that they've had the ability to get back into this game. They were leading in I think the first 2 games as well, if I'm not mistaken. The Brewers just outmanned them to finish those first couple of games. And I think the Cubs have shown that they are a team, a formidable foe. They're not going to die easily. They got a lot of guys, a lot of talent, and they're not going to quit. So I don't necessarily blame you completely, Anthony, nor should the great people of Milwaukee. Not yet. But yeah, I think the Cubs are a good team, and they're showing it right now.
Well, I don't like your attitude right now. I don't disagree with what you're saying either. So Pat Murphy placed Christian Yelich atop the batting order last night, and he said because he'll hit more, and that was his logic, which is pretty sound. The strategy worked out to perfection in the 5th inning, as he got a leadoff. There was a leadoff double by Sal Frelick, and then a walk by Blake Perkins. Then Joey Ortiz. And this is what the Brewers do. He had a well-placed bunt. Joey Ortiz did place the runners in scoring position with 1 out for Yelich, except for Yelich made the least productive out, striking out after chasing a 2-2 sinker from Matt Boyd. The Brewers' bigger bats came up small last night, whereas earlier in the series, they came alive. The Brewers have got to figure out how to get more consistent effort in the early innings from their pitching staff. And that obviously will carry over into the next series, too, if they were able to make it against the Dodgers. But they won't even make it out of this series if their pitching doesn't step up. And that was the thing that kind of led them all season long. They had a great staff, and they had an excellent bullpen, and things are starting to unravel a little bit. Marsh, what's your take on this series before we move forward here?
I think the Brewers are done. I think the Brewers
You thought the Brewers were done coming into the series.
Well,
though.
I did, and then I watched them play the first 2 games. I remember texting you guys in game 1, and I said the Brewers are surgical. They just move runners over. They find ways to drive in runs, whether that is base hit after base hit after base hit, or we saw in game 2 the long ball. But there's this, you can't help but as a player think about the past. I know we're all human, even the players. Now there's some people out there that think they're robots. That's not the case. You think about that stuff. I know they do. And now you let the Cubs get back in the series. We know the Cubs can swing the bat, man. They can. Now they are at home, which should help because they were. I don't know if they were complaining, but they said the crowd had something to do with them losing the game. But
who said that?
Pat Murphy did, I believe.
And Pat Murphy needs to sack up.
That the crowd had an impact. It was more of a compliment to the fans of Wrigley.
Which my comment stands.
Yeah.
So
I think they're done.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when we were talking about the Florida Panthers and how they were up 3-0 and the Oilers had started coming back into that series? And I'm like, well, now the Panthers they have pressure on them because this is the first time where, they lose, they go home. Like you'll see. Oh, I'm sorry. The Oilers had pressure on them, is what I was saying. That if they don't win, it's over. So I think the Brewers, the pressure is going to be on them in Game 5 because they were up, they had the lead, they had an opportunity to win it all, and now you are back home, that's wonderful. But the Cubs have led in every game except for Game 3. They scored first in each of those games. I think the Cubs are going to put some pressure on the Brewers, and they're probably going to knock them out.
I don't like it.
And then the Cardinals, the ownership will say, "See, well, I guess." Well, no, that won't.
No, yeah. You're going the other way.
I'm telling
on that
you,
narrative
right now, a Cubs Dodgers NLCS is one of the worst things to think about.
A Cubs Dodgers NLCS?
Yeah, it's sports-wise, just one of the worst things.
Oh, for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not nationally, of course.
No, nationally, that's great for baseball.
Yeah, okay.
For us here in St. Louis, 1, we don't like the Cubs. We never have. 2, we don't like the Dodgers based on how they construct their roster. And there's probably one person in this entire town that likes the Dodgers.
Right.
And
we're
talking to him right now.
Well, he's not here in this town.
No, he's not.
Typically, he is.
Typically, he is.
Yeah. His name is Jamie Barry Rivers. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. QB resurgence. We're seeing it in the NFL. Is it compliments to the new coach or criticism maybe for the old staff? A little of both. That's next on 101 ESPN. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We continue to see the quarterback resurgence around the NFL. And CD, you actually had a thought about this a couple of days ago and kind of where the credit might need to go.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, we often hear about how good some of these coaches are that I guess reclamation projects like the Kevin O'Connell's, how he can correct Sam Darnold, or we saw Mac Jones have great success these past couple of games with Kyle Shanahan. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if maybe I two-parter. I wonder if the coaches that are getting these guys are just that damn good, or if the coaches that had these guys were that damn bad. And it started like messing with my brain. I was like, man. So I started diving into some of the names, some of the offensive coordinators that some of these quarterbacks had in their previous stops. So we started with Baker Mayfield. He was under a guy, Alex Van Pelt was his OC. You know Alex?
Yeah, Scott's brother.
Yes. No, but yes.
Okay. But Alex Van Pelt was his offensive coordinator for two. Freddie Kitchens, where he had multiple head coaches. So it's probably not the recipe for success. And then I went to Geno Smith. Geno Smith had his first 2 to 3 years with the Jets. Marty Morningwig. We know his name.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Been a long time since he was a head coach in the NFL and doing good things. The other OC he had was Chan Gailey.
Oof.
Chan Gailey was an offensive coordinator in the late 80s, early 90s.
Carey, you're just making these people up.
I'm not saying that the game got past old Chan, but I'm just saying it's been a while since you were calling plays in the NFL. Looked at Sam Darnold. Anthony, his first offensive coordinator was Jeremy Bates. You remember old JB?
No.
Okay, and then he had, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, Dowell Loggins?
Yeah, Dowell Loggins. Yeah, he was with Tennessee. He was with the Bears. He did some good work with the Bears, and by good work, I mean he didn't work at all.
Kenny's brother.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I went to Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler. You know who his OC was his first year?
His first year was Josh McDaniels.
There you go. How did it go after that?
Not well.
Wasn't Matt Patricia his OC after that at some point?
Well, it's a combination, Carey.
That guy's he's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
what is Matt Patricia doing now? Anyone?
Yeah, defensive coordinator for the Ohio State University.
I'll see him tomorrow. Exactly. So I'm looking at these
Not
damn
an offensive
names.
mind. In fairness, Carey, Belichick didn't leave the offense solely in Matt Patricia's hands. He also had the special teams guy, Joe Judge, work with the offense too.
It was a collective effort to screw up old Drake, Mac Jones. Yeah, they did it together.
Carey, you should try and steal Matt Patricia's pencil tomorrow.
I should. I might have to tackle him to the ground. He probably ain't coming off that damn short pencil to save his life. But I'm looking at these names and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how is it that these quarterbacks go to different organizations, different franchises, different schemes, different head coaches and offensive coordinators and have the success that they have? Yes, I do think it's that these coaches are really good. Daniel Jones, I didn't even mention him. He's having a resurgence as well, going to Indianapolis under Shane Steichen. But how do you – it is negligent to have a rookie quarterback and to have an offensive coordinator that cannot help them get the most out of them. And it starts with the head coach. It starts with the front office, but then it starts with the head coach and hiring that Chan Gailey. I think Chan Gailey was great in the 90s, but I don't think he should have been the OC for Geno Smith in 2013.
Right.
Is he Geno Smith's offensive coordinator right now?
No, it is Chip Kelly. Chip
Kelly, excuse me. He's not. What are you saying? He's not playing well under him either. So
yeah, he's just not playing well.
He's struggling.
So Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was asked about Sam Darnold, and he got into something that kind of sets up this whole conversation that we're having. So here's Liam Cohen first after being asked about Sam Darnold, who the Jaguars will face on Sunday.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Sam. I don't know him personally, but obviously through Grant and Kevin, and then obviously Sean Surratt being here, having stories and watching him throw the football. He's very talented. There's a reason why he was the top 5 pick. I remember all the comebacks that he had at SC, and to see guys, so much of playing this position, I think, in this league is timing and circumstance. And there's so many talented guys that people end up saying can't do it, or it doesn't work in that timing and that circumstance. And now look what has happened to him in his career. Baker and him are on the same team and couldn't quite play on that team. So it's just time. So much of it is not giving up on these guys and knowing that as time goes and they accumulate more reps, not just in games, but in practice, calling plays, guys coming from spread systems, no huddle, shotgun, like that whole operation is new. It's different. It's a different mode of operation for those guys. So really cool to see guys like Sam, continuing to get better as they go throughout their career.
As he was talking, Carey, when I listened to this clip before the show, I got to thinking about, because he had mentioned how Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were in Carolina together. They were on the same team. And Baker Mayfield was asked at one point, too, like, hey, you talk to Sam Darnold a lot and reminisce about your Carolina days? He goes, yeah, no, because it was rough. Of course, he got cut, and Sam Darnold's there a year. But the thing I thought about was, Dave Canales is their head coach now, the Panthers head coach, and Dave Canales was the OC for the Buccaneers when Baker Mayfield had his resurgence in Tampa. And I wonder, had they just matched up with the timing, if Dave Canales and Baker Mayfield could have turned things around for Carolina. Now, not a good team like Tampa Bay was a good team, but still, just the marriage between the offensive play caller, and a quarterback would have helped a hell of a lot, just like we're seeing with the resurgence of a lot of these quarterbacks.
Indeed. I think it is critical that when you're drafting a quarterback, you know who your offensive coordinator is. He has a philosophy and a plan to help these young players, because as you just heard Liam Cohen say, it takes time to the reps. They're going from different systems, different ways of running their offense. So, yeah, it takes time, but you got to have a coordinator that understands that and is willing and able to help them succeed in the best way possible.
No doubt. That's Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We got the Gauntlet next.
4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
All right, time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, where it's 4:03. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis live from his hotel in Champaign. Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter back here in the St. Louis studios. And we welcome in Tim to the Gauntlet. What's up, Tim?
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
Doing great, man. Appreciate you joining us today. Hope your Friday's going well. Would you like to take on Marsh, CD, or me today in the Gauntlet?
I'm going to go ahead and say M-I-Z. I'm going to take on Carey.
Z-O-U.
Shameful.
What?
All right. Good luck, Tim. You all see my son behind me. He's back there playing video games.
Oh, okay. What's up, Z?
They said, what's up, Z? All right. I'm moving on.
So Carey's going to go into the makeshift cone of silence. Tim, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
What category are you hoping for?
You know, it's always one of those things. You listen to the radio and you're like, hey, I do every single one of those. And then all of a sudden, the next one, you know none of them. So I'm comfortable with anything.
All right, well, Tim came in pretty hot with the MIZ. Carey obviously responding with the ILL. It only makes sense that today's category is football.
Foosball?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Of course, it's football.
All right. Do we do the Carey Davis thing? I guess
No, we did not. We can do it right now.
Carey Davis. And that's not against you, Tim. It's just we do that every time Carey gets back. So,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, not personal at all. Here we go. 4 questions, all football related. Each one is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Question 1. Which team won the first Monday night football game of this season? Which team won the first Monday night football game of this season?
Go ahead and give me the option.
The Buffalo Bills, the Minnesota Vikings, or the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh, God, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Final answer.
Question number 2. Through 4 games, name the only team the Las Vegas Raiders have beaten.
Go ahead and give me the options. I feel like I'm going to get skunked by Carey.
Options are the Tennessee Titans, the Washington Commanders, or the New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. Final answer.
All right, Tim. Question number 3. Former NFLer Dwight Freeney played his college football at which university? Where did Dwight Freeney play his college football?
Go ahead and give me the options on that one as well.
All right. Stanford, Syracuse, Notre Dame.
I'm going to go with Syracuse. Final answer.
Question number 4. Former St. Louis Rams Steven Jackson played for the Rams, the Falcons, and 1 season with which other team?
Go ahead and give me the options on that one, too.
Options are the New England Patriots, the Detroit Lions, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
New England Patriots. Final answer.
All right. So we got to get Carey back. You want to text him?
I already did. He is making his way back right now.
What are you, a professional, Marsh? Well done, my friend. Tim, how you feeling?
I felt better, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. CD, sounds like CD is back. Carey?
I am here.
Okay. Carey.
ILL.
Your category, as Marsh said, fittingly enough, is football. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, question 1. Which team won the first Monday Night Football game of this season?
Oh, my gosh. Who the heck played? Monday night. Was that the Chargers and the Chiefs? Was it the Chargers and the Chiefs? I think it was. And I think it was. I don't want to take a shot, but I think I should take a shot. I believe. Oh, it wasn't 2 games. So I think it was. Give me the options.
The Buffalo Bills, the Minnesota Vikings, or the Philadelphia Eagles?
Ooh, I'm glad I did take the options.
The Chiefs-Chargers was a Friday night game.
Oh, okay.
I could say that now that you have the options.
Thank you. The Bills, the Vikings. Oh, I think it was the Vikings. The Vikings played Monday night. And they beat, I don't remember who they beat, but it was the Vikings, I think. I'm pretty sure. Vikings, final answer.
Question number 2. Through 4 games, name the only team the Las Vegas Raiders have beaten.
Who did they beat? Man. Oh, man. I'm going to need that. They lost to the Colts. They lost to the Bears. They lost to options, man.
Options are the Tennessee Titans, the Washington Commanders, or the New England Patriots.
Now, they beat the Patriots week 1. Did they play the Titans? They played the Titans. They beat them. I don't think they beat the Commanders. I don't even know if they played the Commanders. The Titans. Final answer. Ooh.
Question 3.
You got a smirk on your face, Anthony. I see you. I see you.
Former NFLer Dwight Freeney played his college football at which university?
Syracuse University. Final answer.
Question number 4. Former St. Louis Rams Steven Jackson played for the Rams, the Falcons, and 1 season with which other team?
The New England Patriots. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Which team won the first Monday Night Football game of the season? Tim with the option said the Eagles. Carey with the option said the Vikings. Correct answer is...
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy had that one good quarter against the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. It is the Minnesota Vikings.
Nice job. Carey up 1-0. Through 4 games, name the only team the Las Vegas Raiders have beaten. Carey went with the New England Patriots. No, you went with the Tennessee Titans, excuse me.
Yeah.
Tim went with the New England Patriots. Correct answer is...
Well, Carey, while choosing your team, you said, well, the Raiders beat the Patriots, and then you proceeded to take the Titans. It was the Patriots.
Oh, my God.
That's why I had a smirk on my face. I couldn't believe that. You literally said, well, they beat the Patriots week 1. You're correct. And then you said... Yeah, but if they've played the Titans, they've beaten them.
I missed the question. I didn't.
That's why I had the sperm like,
that's horrible.
What are you doing?
It's lost in translation. Wow.
All right, so we have a 1-1 tie.
Could be a pivotal question.
We have a 1-1 tie. Former NFLer Dwight Freeney played his college football at which university? You both said Syracuse. Correct answer is?
It is Syracuse.
But... Carey didn't need the options on that one.
Oh, man.
Former St. Louis Rams Steven Jackson played for the Rams, Falcons, in 1 season with which other team? You both said New England. Correct answer is...
It is the New England Patriots.
But Carey didn't need the options. Tim.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Tim, you got 3 of the 4 correct. It's just that he didn't need the options on 2 of those. So, sorry, got you 5-3 today.
Hey, it's okay. I appreciate you guys letting me on. But can I make a couple of shout-outs real quick?
Yeah, sure. Yep. Keep it clean.
I want to shout out my wife, Christine, my kids, Ellie, Maddie, and Luke, and then my buddies, Matt Pullman and Brian Adams.
Oh, okay, good. Brian Adams had some good songs back in the 90s, my man. That's awesome. And you got a Maddie as well. My daughter's Madeline. Do you have a Madeline or a Madison?
It is indeed a Madeline.
Okay, and Carey, yours?
Madison.
There you go. So the 3 of us have Maddies. Love it. Tim, have a great weekend, and hopefully we have you back on.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
I appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Tim.
Thank you. Gator.
Thanks,
Gator in the snake pit goes, I thought I was tripping.
That's when you don't hear the questions properly. Like you just, that's terrible.
That's all right. But by the way, the Raiders host the Titans this weekend. They host the Titans this weekend. All right, Carey, you got to get out of here, man. Nice job in the Gauntlet today. Nice job this week. We'll talk to you on Monday.
See you Monday, fellas. Have a good
brother.
weekend.
See you, Carey.
See you, man.
ILL.
I.
Go win that game.
There you go. All right, CD. Thanks, man.
See you.
Speaking of college football, our college football Week 7 roundtable before we get back into the Blues. So we'll have a couple of conversations on the two big local games, recap kind of our thoughts on those two games, and dive into some of the other big matchups. It's a big weekend in college football. That's next on 101 ESPN. Gauntlet on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. College football week 7 roundtable. Let's dive into some of these matchups. And let's start off. I know not everybody listens to the show every segment, so this will be a little bit of a recap for those that did hear the 2 local segments earlier. But if you didn't, and you're wondering, hey, where's the Mizzou-Bama talk and where's the Illinois-Ohio State talk? Again, just to recap. Marsh, if Mizzou's got, I think, a golden opportunity to win this game tomorrow in Columbia. I really do. It's not going to be easy. Alabama's going to be a stiff test. Alabama has looked like a completely different team than it did in week 1. If Mizzou can get home with their pass rush and take some of the pressure off of their defensive backs and safeties, which unfortunately has allowed some big plays in the bigger games this year. Not the UMass, obviously. You can't really take anything from that game, but the Kansas game, South Carolina game, they gave up big plays. If Mizzou can get home with their pass rush, and I believe they can, of course, limit what the damage Ty Simpson does. Mizzou has a much better pass rush than Georgia.
Which is so weird to say.
It is, but Georgia's young and inexperienced up front. They didn't create much pressure on Ty Simpson a couple of weeks ago when they met in Athens.
And we did see a lot of pressure from Florida State, and that helped them win that game at home, by the way. And I think that's why a lot of us were worried about what Alabama was going to do this season, because Ty Simpson, in that game, I mean, he looked flustered trying to get out of the pocket while he was in the pocket, and that's because Florida State just had so much pressure up front.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Mizzou needs to do. I know that kind of sounds super simple, but that's how you win games.
But that's the fact of the matter, too, specifically with this Mizzou team. The other factor, of course, is Alabama. You can run in Alabama. Their corners, if they stay in too tight, you can have those running games from the interior. If they overcommit, then you can bounce them outside. Either way, Mizzou, the strength, of course, offensively, is Ahmad Hardy in their running game. If they can control the clock, control this one from an offense standpoint, sustain drives, and again, the defensive line create some of the havoc that we've seen before, they can limit some of the big plays that Alabama can generate in the passing game. If they don't, and this winds up being a shootout, well, now, not that Bo Prabula hasn't been great, because he has, but I don't think you want to get in a track meet with Alabama. You want to control this one. So that's where I'm at in the Mizzou-Alabama game, and I think Mizzou can do both things. I think they can generate a pass rush and keep the ball on the ground effectively. I think they're going to be okay. Matthew just says in the snake pit they can't tackle very well in the secondary. I agree.
Well, that's your whole point.
Exactly. Yep. Same idea for you. Marsh and I both like Mizzou. No surprise, Carey chose Alabama. Flipping over to the Illinois-Ohio State game, this is obviously a big test here. You got number 1 in the nation coming to your place, a team in Ohio State that has really manhandled and suffocated opponents all season long from a defensive standpoint. But Luke Altmaier being, what is he, 25, I think? A veteran QB, playing at home, knowing the stakes. I hope that Illinois can strike for a couple of big plays to keep the team in it. But when I look at how banged up they are still in the secondary, they might still be banged up along the offensive line. That was the exact recipe that cost them in the Indiana game. The secondary the safeties took bad angles on runs and some of the short, quick passes, and the secondary couldn't keep up with simple slants. That's a problem, and it will be a problem against Ohio State. Same thing. The offensive line, Luke Altmaier was under siege against Indiana. So if Illinois doesn't get a couple of these offensive linemen back, and I don't think their center is going to play, but if they don't get a couple of these O-linemen back, I think it's going to be a real tough sledding for Illinois.
I just can't see them pulling it off. I
can't either, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I hope they do. I'm not a fan of Ohio State. I love CD.
I don't like Ohio State either.
I know that we've got some fans, some Illinois fans that listen. I really do. I'll be rooting for Illinois. I really will. I'd love to see the chaos. I'd love to see Illinois, which, of course, is not – they've had rough seasons in college football. I'm not saying anything that Illinois fans don't already know. I would love to see the upset. I can't see it.
If there is a season, though, for something like this to happen, we've already seen major upsets happen already this year because it just really is a chaotic college football field. This would not entirely shock me if they did pull off the upset, just based on what we've witnessed from other teams so far this season.
I agree. All right, Marsh. Getting into our other college football Week 7 roundtable matchups. Indiana and Oregon. There's some people that feel as though that Indiana can go into Oregon and pull off the upset.
I'm one of them.
You think Indiana can or will?
I think they can. Will they? I don't know, because you mentioned it the other day, and I agree with you. When they play big-time opponents in big games, they aren't the same team.
Yeah.
They're not. However, the one reason why I feel like they could is because Oregon and Penn State went to overtime, and then we saw Penn State not look good against a winless UCLA team at the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to question whether or not that game against Penn State was the game that we thought it was at the time. So maybe there's a chance for Indiana to pull off this upset. They're a 7.5-point dog. Mm-hmm. I think if anything they could cover, but maybe it's a late cover. I don't know.
A little backdoor cover action.
We've seen it happen before.
Well, the one wasn't even a backdoor. Alabama went right through the front door last week.
Yeah, they did.
That was tough. Indiana and Oregon. Indiana. This Mendoza kid might be able to play in the NFL. I mean, he's having a fantastic season. Curt Cignetti does a great job with his offense. But I saw this Indiana team last year, and maybe this isn't fair because they did play the eventual national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. Mm-hmm. But I was woefully unimpressed when Indiana played Ohio State last year in the regular season.
Yeah.
It was their first big, hey, it's kind of like what Mizzou's facing this weekend, quite frankly, against Alabama. It was Indiana's first opportunity to say, we're legit, we can play with the big boys, we're not just a fun story. And almost from the gun, Indiana couldn't move the ball offensively, and then they got hyper conservative, in my opinion, to keep the game tight. And it pissed me off as a football fan. Mm-hmm. And of course, they eventually played again in the playoffs, and they finished third, I think, in that game.
Well,
I don't think I know it's a different opponent.
To the two teams that went to the national championship.
I get it. I do. I get it. Maybe I'm not being fair.
But, I agree with you. But
if we're gonna
be close in those games,
Marsh, if we're gonna ask the question about Mizzou because of their history, I think it's fair to ask the same question about Indiana. And I do not see Indiana, even with their talent offensively, going into Oregon, into Eugene tomorrow afternoon and hanging with the Ducks. The Ducks' offensive line is one of the best in the nation, if not the best. They are nasty up front. And defensively, their front seven is one of the best as well. I think Oregon controls this game in the trenches, and I think they win 10+. You have at least Indiana covering it, it sounds like?
Well, you may have just
swayed you.
Maybe.
No. Hold your ground.
Well, Anthony, I'm very open to listening. You know, I want to hear every angle when it comes to these games, and you may have swayed me. I hope this game is close though, because there's something about Indiana. It's because they're not one of those football teams that are there every year. This is sort of at least for me, the inception of Indiana football. Like they've been okay in the past, but nothing to the degree that we're seeing right now under Curt Cignetti.
At best, you could say they've been fun in the past. Like when Penix was there for a year or so, they were kind of fun.
Do you trust Curt Cignetti and his background, his winning pedigree over Indiana's football program as a whole, Jamie?
I'll tell you what I trust. I trust Curt Cignetti against Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, Michigan State, Illinois, Rutgers. I trust him against those teams.
Gotcha.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
It's probably not fair. Texas. Are you still waiting for a rebound? I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs and whatever. That's they're about done. But the Red River rivalry against OU, and we don't know if John Mateer is going to play. Now, the line has shifted from Texas minus 1.5 to now Texas is an underdog.
Well, I'm looking at ESPN.com right now, and they still have Texas at minus 1.5.
Okay, so different books will have different things.
Yeah.
Are you somebody that because here's where I'm at. I still am kind of waiting for that flip for Texas.
Well, in the line itself, we always talk about this. Texas, they're 3-2. Like, why would they be the favorite against a 5-0 Oklahoma team that's ranked 6th in the nation, even without maybe their star QB? Mm-hmm. What is going on here? That leads me to believe that Texas.
The right questions.
That leads me to believe that's again the powers that be within the college football realm. That Texas could win this football game, and they might.
Mm-hmm.
What do they know? What do they know?
I wonder if Texas, after losing to Florida last week, rebounds defensively, shuts down Oklahoma, and perhaps after all the teeth gnashing over Arch Manning, he doesn't make a play or two to lift Texas in this rivalry, and they jump back into the top 25, back into the top 25. I wouldn't bet it, but I think Texas wins this game.
I do too, and it's solely based on the line. It really is.
The line not making sense.
The line not making sense from what I've seen. This whole entire season hasn't made sense. So what would make sense if Texas won?
Fair. The top 25 team that is on upset alert, besides Alabama, because you and I both have Mizzou winning that game.
Right.
A close, narrow game, back and forth, Mizzou win it. We both have Mizzou win it, so we have to take Alabama off the board. The top 25 team that is on upset alert. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Maybe Auburn over Georgia.
Do you shut your mouth? You shut that stink hole of yours.
Home game for Auburn. Maybe they beat Georgia, makes that next game for Mizzou look a little bit more interesting.
Come on, man.
So I'm looking at. What about South Carolina over LSU?
I don't have to squint to see it, but I'll take. I don't know why Utah is laying as many points as they are to Arizona State. Mm-hmm. It's a tough environment, especially in the night games. But I could see Arizona State pulling off that upset. So I'll say Utah. Actually, Utah's not even ranked. I just pulled an idiot move there. All right.
Florida State's 25, so this would qualify. I know they are 3-2 right now, but they take on Pitt.
I don't have one. I don't have one outside of Bama.
Gotcha.
I think Florida State's going to be fine. Ole Miss is a huge favorite. Obviously, Indiana's on upset alert, but they're also an underdog, so they don't really count.
Well, let's not sleep on North Texas, too, as they take on number 24 South Florida tonight.
Man. Bulls are going to roll. Actually, I don't know. High-scoring game, though. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How long will it take Blues fans to get over the Zack Bolduc trade? It might take a little longer after what we're seeing thus far. That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues fall to the Minnesota Wild last night in their season opener by a final score of 5-0. Tomorrow, the Blues will be in Calgary taking on the Flames with an early puck drop. We'll have that game for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 2 with the puck drop at 3 o'clock. We talked earlier today with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Well, former Blue Zack Bolduc is off to a good start in Montreal. How long will it take for Blues fans to get over the trade of Zack Bolduc? We'll discuss it next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh. The Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
All right, so I don't know if Marsh, you're trying to troll the faithful here in St. Louis with this question, but
I'm not trying to troll anybody.
I like it anyways. Let's get into it. So, as we know, Logan Mailloux off to a slow start, and last night certainly wasn't on Logan Mailloux. The entire Blues team in spurts or in certain areas of the game didn't play well. I mean, you lose 5-0, and Minnesota, from a defensive standpoint and really just a goal suppression standpoint, they thoroughly outplayed you. But Logan Mailloux had a rough night. And, of course, Zack Bolduc has, 10 goals in 2 games? Is that what it is?
No, it's 2 goals through 2 games. Could have had 3, but they ended up giving that redirect goal that we thought, which would have made it 4-1 against the Red Wings. They ended up giving it to Carey, who shot that puck from the point. So Zack Bolduc only has 2 goals. If he had 3, though, I think everybody would be complaining.
I think they're probably still going to be complaining. He's still on pace, as we mentioned yesterday, for 82 goals this season. Zack Bolduc. How long will it take Blues fans to get over the trade of Zack Bolduc? Now, I'll just preface this conversation with my thoughts. I understood the trade at the time. I'm certainly not going to have a rash take or completely, scrub the take I had before. I get it. Doug Armstrong dealt from a loaded deck, so to speak. Not a loaded deck, but he traded from strength and added something that he didn't have within the organization. He knows he has, if, of course, Jimmy Snuggerud continues to develop, some of these other younger goal scorers continue to develop, he knows he has some scoring on the roster. So if he parts with Zack Bolduc and he acquires a big defenseman that can move and it's got a little nastiness apparently to him, I get it. And when it's all said and done, if all things are equal, you'd rather have what I imagine, and he's not now, but I imagine will be a top 4 defenseman as opposed to a goal scorer that tops off at what? I mean, all jokes aside, what do you think Zack Bolduc tops off at?
This season or just in his career?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, at this rate, like you said, 82.
Realistically.
I mean, I could see him being 25 to 30 goal scorer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is significant.
Oh, yeah.
That's a significant goal scorer.
Second full season.
But again, if Logan Mailloux develops into what the Blues think he will and what we think, I get the trade. I also understand the frustration because a lot of fans didn't like the deal as it was because they like Zack Bolduc.
And we have 2 separate lines of thinking from the Air Comfort Service text line. I want to start off with Grant Francis Fan Club. I want to wait till the offseason to judge this trade. We get a text from the 618. I won't get over it until Mailloux is a top 4 defenseman.
Okay.
So there's a couple different lines of thinking here. The 618 brings up something that I think maybe a lot of St. Louis fans are thinking, and we were going to bring this up as well, so I'll just do it right now from the 618. Really, really hope it's not like the Randy Arozarena trade. Don't feel great about it at the moment. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to think about that trade because that was something that the Cardinals did at the time where, hey, we have a surplus of outfielders.
Right.
And
we don't have a lot of top-end, left-handed pitching. Yep.
And I would say right now, that trade does not favor the Cardinals entirely. Not saying that this will be the same case for the Blues. Not at all. It's only one game. I feel like people are slightly overacting. But
I mean, it was a rough game.
It was a rough game. It was a rough game. Let's just hope that that's not the case.
I will say this, though, not to dig in deeper here, but going back to the comments that you made about Randy Rosarina and Matthew Liberatore, that deal, it's almost even worse because you saw Zack Bolduc over pretty much a full season what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Rosarina, you may have said, you know what, there's a glimmer there, but he wasn't playing a whole ton.
Yeah, they didn't give him enough runway.
Right. So it's almost worse if it doesn't work out because, again, you had a pretty good idea of what you gave up. But when it's all said and done, it looks like Matthew Liberatore, for all intents and purposes, is going to be perhaps a number at the very least number 3 starter for you. He's still only 25.
Mm-hmm.
So that trade, I think, is going to look a little bit more even as time goes on. But I don't fault Blues fans for being frustrated, especially if you didn't like the deal, as we got some of these texters, especially if you didn't like the deal initially. Your thoughts, though?
Well, I think it's hard not to compare the two trades just because we have examples right now in front of us with two separate franchises here in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the Cardinals, and you mentioned it, they didn't really give Randy Rosarina a ton of runway to really show what he can do. I think the difference there is there really isn't anybody in the Blues system that projects to be that right-handed shot defenseman, whereas the Cardinals believe that they had other outfielders that could carry the mail. And if Tyler O'Neill, could stay healthy, maybe he ends up being the guy that is having like a Randy Rosarina type season and postseason if the Cardinals end up getting to the playoffs more than, a few times. Who knows? But I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait and see what this looks like. I think that Logan Mailloux can be a really good player. I really do. Mm-hmm. He hasn't played. He hasn't played that many games in the NHL.
Right.
And
we just don't know.
He could come back tomorrow and score a goal, and everyone's like, oh, wow, maybe that's just one game. It is what it is. Like last night, he's driving the net. Robert Thomas rings one right off the pipe.
Right.
There's Logan Mailloux right in front of the blue paint. He could have put that in. He could have got the first goal of the season.
And since it's so early in the season, the ebbs and flows are more dramatic.
Yeah. And the expectations for this team, by and large, is very high right now.
I'll just speak from experience watching my beautifully crap football team. When the Falcons lost 30-0 to the Panthers, I'm like, season's over, done. This team can't beat the Panthers. Forget it. I'm out. Mm-hmm. Very next week, they beat Washington, and they look completely different. So
you still hate them though.
I love them.
You love to hate them.
It just hurt me so much. But tomorrow, getting back to the Blues, tomorrow they can go to Calgary, and they can hang a 5 spot on Calgary and look completely different. Like you said, Mailloux scores a goal or just looks fantastic, and all of a sudden you're like, I completely forgot about the Wild game.
Right. And we get a text from the 618.
Matthew mentioned, too, from the Snake Pit, defensemen develop slower as well. I think that's a great point.
Mm-hmm. The 618 says something that I think a lot of people might agree with. I trust the Blues a lot more than the Cardinals in evaluating players.
Now, why would you say that? Actually, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got Bet the Board next here in the Fastlane. Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time to play Bet the Board. And I know Carey and Jamie off to fantastic starts, although Carey, for the first time this month, did not hit his pick. I believe he had Saquon Barkley over 10 receiving yards last night. I think he finished with 9.
He had him at 15 plus.
Oh, okay, 15 plus. So either way, did not hit it. So he didn't win. I didn't win mine. I had Zack Bolduc over 18 or more carries. He finished with 12. Not great. As the Eagles fell last night to the Giants. Did you hit yours, Marsh?
I did not add Jordan Bennington over 22.5 saves. That was not the case last night. However, Jamie did hit his. He had the over 1.5 goals scored in the first period of the Ottawa and Tampa Bay game. Mm-hmm. And I believe they ended up scoring 4 goals in total in that first period.
He's been rolling, which is why I'm shocked that he sent us the play he did today.
Very shocked.
Now, Marsh, you have that play from your phone that, again, Jamie sent us. And, again, this is with the way that Jamie's been cooking with those first period overs in hockey. Why he would do this, I don't know.
Yeah, he likes J.P. Crawford tonight for the Seattle Mariners. J.P. Crawford, not really a power hitter by any means.
I mean, really at all.
At all. He likes him with 2+ home runs tonight.
So not just to hit the 1 home run, he likes him to hit 2 home runs tonight.
2 home runs tonight for J.P. Crawford. And let's not forget who they're going up against. That's Tarek Skubal. Mm-hmm. Skubal, one of the best pitchers in baseball. So to get that text message from Jamie saying that he wants J.P. Crawford with 2+ home runs at plus 10,000 is mind-boggling. But hey, he's the one that's on a tear right now. I'm not going to question it.
I'm not going to question it either. But it almost seems like, Marsh, that Jamie's pick and Carey's pick contradict each other.
Well, absolutely. And I think it's out of spite. And we know that spite typically doesn't win out. But we'll see what happens tonight. Carey loves Tarek Skubal, who's on the mound tonight for the Detroit Tigers. Loves him so much that he's willing to give him 17+ strikeouts in tonight's win-or-go-home game.
Holy smokes.
As the Tigers take on the Mariners. That's something, Anthony. I really don't know what to say about that. It's something.
No, like you said, it's absolutely mind-boggling that Jamie would send in his pick and have it be J.P. Crawford hitting 2 home runs. Not 1, but 2 home runs. But again, the man is on an absolute heater, so we're not going to question him. And then Carey, he just completely, I don't even want Skubal's game total. I'm going to the alt line.
You know what? This is actually unfortunate for Carey. It might help him out a little bit. The 17+ is now gone as we start this segment. It's now 15+ at plus 1,600.
All right, so 15+. We'll give him the right line. All right. Well, Marsh, thank you for making sure that you had those 2 plays for Jamie and Carey as they send it in. I can't see this happening for them, but you never know. Is it your turn or mine?
It really doesn't matter. If you want to go, you can. I'm sure you're going to go football. I'm going to go hockey. So I don't think we'll have the same. I don't think we're on the same pick.
You're right. I am going to go football. I'm going to go to tomorrow afternoon in Knoxville, Tennessee. Give me the over 68.5 in the Arkansas and Tennessee game. Bobby Petrino takes over for Arkansas after Sam Pittman was fired. Defense for Arkansas has been optional all year. It's going to be even more optional with Bobby Petrino, who only concentrates on the offense and doesn't give a damn about his defense. Tennessee could score 70 on their own. So give me the over 68.5, Arkansas and Tennessee, please. And, of course, thank you.
All right, I am looking at tomorrow, the Ottawa Senators and the Florida Panthers. We have the, we won't get the actual Tkachuk brother battle because Matthew's injured. But I like the over in that game. Over 5.5 at minus 115 for Ottawa and Florida tomorrow at 6:10 p.m.
All right, there you have it. Let's bet the board where Jamie continues to dominate faces. I mean, this guy is just, he's incredible. Now, I believe he was cheating for a while, maybe even the last 3 months. But you know what? We caught him.
We did.
And we didn't punish the people that sided with Jamie because they're innocent victims there. but Jamie's not been cheating since. So credit him. TMA will be live next Wednesday morning from the Rawlings Experience at Westport Plaza. Rawlings, the #1 baseball brand worldwide, will be revealing this year's Gold Glove Award finalist at this exclusive event. That's next Wednesday morning, TMA live from the Rawlings Experience in Westport Plaza for the Gold Glove Award finalist announcement. And you can find more details now at 101ESPN.com. Our NFL Week 6 entrance survey is next after Marsh reads off what I can only imagine is a funny text message.
Oh, we have multiple text messages coming into the Air Comfort Service text line. A lot of people really rooting for those 2+ home runs for J.P. Crawford and, of course, Tarek Skubal to have 15+ strikeouts. One of them is going to happen. You can't give up 2+ home runs to J.P. Crawford and expect 15 strikeouts.
No, that's a good point.
Unless it's the only 2 hits of the game that you give up.
Yeah. I don't think any of them are going to hit, but you know what? Who am I to judge Carey and Jamie for their selections?
Now, if you were to drive to the hillside and put a parlay in with these 2 picks, I wonder how much you would end up winning if that were to occur.
I think the books would be glad to take your money in that case.
No, what if you won?
They'd be glad to take your money on that one. All right, NFL Week 6 entrance survey. So we got a couple of different conversations surrounding the Week 6 action. Which team are you putting under the microscope this Sunday in the NFL? Which quarterback, with the same question, under the biggest microscope or under the microscope? What's the matchup that offers the biggest storylines? And what's our biggest, boldest prediction for Sunday in the NFL? That's next on 101 ESPN. We've all had situations where we've hired the wrong company to do a remodel. My wife, Chris, and I can attest to this. This is why we go with Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. I'll get back to Mosby in a second, but our situation, it was with a flooring company right here in St. Louis, a flooring company that we hired to come out, and there was issues afterwards where there were some problems. They actually dinged up one of the frames of the door, and they didn't have the hardwood floors extending in certain areas, so they wouldn't even match up with the crown mold, the molding on the bottom. And we had them come out. They had this company come back out, and we walked around with the owner of this flooring company, and he admitted, he goes, yeah, we got some issues here, and we're going to take care of this for you. Yeah, 3 calls to that same company later. They never returned our call, didn't come back out. I would love to say their name right now, but don't want to do that because, don't want to deal with that issue. But when it comes to Mosby Building Arts, you never have to worry about that. First and foremost, to do it right the first time. If you do have issues, though, if you have any issues at all, they'll make it right. They'll make it right. They'll make sure that they come back out and take care of any problems. But again, I've worked with Mosby Building Arts a couple of times on multiple different projects. Never had issues. They always do a great job when it comes to measurements, keeping everything on task. The quality of their work is outstanding. It often speaks for themselves. Their designers are tasteful, and they work with you when it comes to your style. You can't beat Mosby, especially right now during their out-of-this-world sales event. You can have a remodeled bathroom starting at just $279 a month. If you want to go something with a smaller project that still upgrades your home significantly, $69 a month for a brand new front door, or $59 a month during the Out of This World sales event on new gutters. Go with Mosby Building Arts and go with them before October 31st ends, so the end of the month, to take advantage of their sale. And you can go to callmosby.com. Tell them Stalter sent you. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. With Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. Carey is in Champaign to cover the Illini. And, of course, the one and only Jamie Barry Rivers is in Calgary for the Blues and the Flames matchup tomorrow, which you can hear right here on 101 ESPN. Starting at the pregame at 2 o'clock, puck will drop at 3. NFL Week 6, the entrance survey. We do this each and every Friday during the NFL season, kind of encompass a couple of different talking points and topics when it comes to the week ahead in the NFL. All right, Marsh, which team are you putting under the microscope this Sunday?
I think the obvious answer is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to pick a different team, though, and I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, a team that lost to the Browns. They followed that next week up with a tie to the Dallas Cowboys. We didn't get to see them last week because they were on bye. But now they're taking on the Bengals, a Joe Flacco-led Bengals, who was a part of that Browns team that ended up beating them. We saw the Bengals find a little bit of their offense last week against the Detroit Lions. Now, that game really wasn't close, to be honest. They didn't cover by any means. But I'm interested to see how the Packers respond out of the bye and try and pick up their third win against the Bengals team that they should beat.
So there's a couple of different answers that I'll throw out a couple of teams, and then I'll land on the one. I agree with you. I think the Chiefs being under the microscope after they lost in Jacksonville in the manner that they did with Chris Jones and all that. I think the Jaguars are under the microscope. You're coming off a big win. You're now 4-1, but you got a Seattle team that's ticked off after losing to Tampa last week. They're coming to town, and you're only a slight favorite. And in fact, the line may have jumped in that one. But Jacksonville, I think, is another team. I realize that they're banged up, and there might not be anything that they can do. But the Ravens are a proud organization. They're 1-4, and they host the Rams. I think they're under the microscope. But the team that I'm choosing for this, the LA Chargers.
Oh, that's a good pick, yeah.
The LA Chargers last week came out of the gates like a bat out of hell. They jump up on Washington 10-0, look like they're going to cruise, and then Quentin Johnston puts the ball on the ground when they were in Washington territory. Now, whether they settle for a field goal or score a touchdown on that one, either way, they were going to take either most likely a 17 or a 13-point lead in Washington, and maybe the game goes sideways. The game gets out of hand. Instead, he puts the ball on the ground. Washington's able to come back. They get their feet under them. And in the second half, the Chargers have no running game. They lose their starting running back, Hampton. Justin Herbert throws an interception that was tipped at the goal line, and things get away from the Chargers. Now they're 3-2. They're incredibly banged up because they're the Chargers. Of course, they're banged up. They don't have their two offensive tackles. They lost their starting running back, like I just mentioned. But you're in Miami to take on a Dolphins team that just blew a significant lead in Charlotte last week. So give me the Chargers. I think the Chargers are under the microscope. You got to win that game. If you don't, we're going to start having conversations about whether or not the Chargers should be even considered a playoff team this early. All right, next question. Which quarterback are you putting under the microscope this Sunday? So instead of a team, a quarterback.
I'm looking at the 49ers and Buccaneers game. Mac Jones. We know now that Brock Purdy will not be playing in that game, so it's Mac Jones under center once again, and Mac Jones has done a good job filling in for Brock Purdy, and they take on a Buccaneer team that just continues to find ways to win. I know they lost to Philly a couple weeks ago, but they made that game close. Man, if Mac Jones can beat what I believe to be a really good Buccaneers team, I may have to start taking him a little bit more serious than maybe I have in the past, and how I feel about him right now. Like, I think he's fine. I don't really buy into the 49ers right now, even though they're 4-1. But if they can win this week in Tampa Bay, then that conversation, at least for me, changes.
Okay, fair. I won't go back to the well, but I do think Justin Herbert is a perfect fit. But I just talked about the Chargers as a team, so I won't go back to the well. If he winds up playing, and Marsh, maybe you saw something that I haven't over the last hour or so, but if Kyler Murray winds up playing, and I know he didn't practice yesterday, and he's so I'm seeing now he's questionable. if he plays, I think he's under the microscope. I don't want to hear about the injuries. I don't want to hear about him being sick. I don't want to hear about the fact that he's playing a Colts team that's 4-1. Your team needs you after a rough loss last week.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have lost to Tennessee. You had the DeMarcado in a situation where he fumbles the ball before he crosses the goal line. Your head coach gets fined, but you're the quarterback. Your defense has played well enough, quite frankly, to win most of the games this year.
Yeah.
They beat the Saints, they beat the Panthers.
Kept it close with the Seahawks.
Kept it close with the Niners. Last week you should have won. This is where you earn your money if you're Kyler Murray. Yeah. Again, provided, of course, that he's healthy. If he's not going to play, then that goes by the wayside. But he's my pick for a quarterback under the microscope.
Interesting head coaching matchup, too.
Between the two former Eagles coordinators.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's a nice storyline. Big narrative guy, Marsh is. Well done. All right, Marsh, what's the matchup that offers the biggest storylines?
Wow.
That's a perfect transition. We didn't even see that coming, Marsh.
Yeah, I think the entire nation is fixated on that specific game. But for the people that aren't, maybe they are looking to see what the Lions and Chiefs have to provide, because the Chiefs, and I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but
I think it's the right one, though.
It's the right one, at least
Sunday
in my
night
opinion.
game.
Absolutely. And the Chiefs are coming off of I would say a brutal loss. Not that the Jags are a bad team by any means, but I felt like the Chiefs found a little bit of their offense in that game, and they should have won that game. They really should have, and they should have at least made the tackle on Trevor Lawrence, which would have made that game a little bit more interesting towards the end. Now, maybe the Jags end up punching it in. Who knows? But it would have made it a little bit more difficult for Jacksonville. And they're taking on a Lions team that has found their game. They lost to Green Bay in week 1, but the Lions are rolling. We had the Lions as the number 1 team in our stack up.
We did.
But
and rightfully so.
You look at this game, Kansas City is a 2.5-point favorite at home. I'm very interested to see what this game will provide us on Sunday Night Football. I could see the Chiefs winning this game. I actually picked them to win.
Kansas City?
Yeah.
It is the obvious answer, but I think it's obvious for a reason. You're right. That's the game that's got the best storylines. Chris Jones, how do you respond? How do the Chiefs respond? Xavier Worthy, not even on the injury report. He's going to play. You don't have Rice back, but you do have Worthy back. When the Chiefs won a couple of weeks ago against the Ravens, I was willing to say, hey, the demise of the Kansas City Chiefs, we're a little early on that. But then they go to Jacksonville, and you had a lot of miscues that the Chiefs don't normally have. I realize it happens at times, but really the shoes, the shoe was on the other side of the foot there. When you look at the Chiefs and the Jaguars and how they played out, normally it's the other team that's kicking the ball out of bounds. Normally it's the other team that's got the procedural penalties. Normally the other team has a pass interference call that sets up the Chiefs for a game-winning touchdown. But I was on Kansas City side. So how they respond is going to be interesting. And it's not like they have the Bengals coming in. It's the Lions. And the Lions, remember, got them a couple of years ago, Thursday Night Football in the opener.
Yep.
And I do think the Lions, as we sit here right now, are the best team in the NFL. So I think the storylines are fantastic for that Sunday night game. I'm really looking forward to that. All right, Marsh, your biggest and boldest prediction for week 6. We'll end it on this.
All right. Well, if I had to look at 2 games in particular, and I am not picking these teams in the Pick'em Challenge to win, but if I were to say, okay, there is a chance that these 2 teams could upset their opponent, I'm looking at the Browns over the Steelers, and I'm looking at the Panthers over the Cowboys.
Okay, I can see that.
Not a huge, bold prediction. If I wanted to go bold, maybe I could say the Bengals.
The Browns, I think, is a pretty good one.
Bengals cover. They're a 14.5-point dog against the Packers. But again, I don't know if that's even a bold prediction. I would say, though, that it seems like there's a few layups this week, but I really don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to preface this by saying I will definitely chicken out, and I will not have this as part of our pick'em pool.
And that's exactly what I was kind of referring to. I don't have the onions to do that.
Well, the other reason too is that it's a team game. It's not just me, and I don't want to do this and then have it go the way it should.
Yeah,
and then I cost us a point. But
well, if you think about it, that's kind of what have cost us the last few weeks.
Yeah, we haven't been bold enough.
Yeah.
But here's my boldest prediction. Ravens beat the Rams.
Wow.
Proud organization, like I said.
Proud alum.
If they can fire up chips.
Yeah.
You got Cooper Rush, who did not play well last week, but he was really under siege from the gun. The Rams, 7.5 point favorite. I think the Ravens, if they can get a couple of these key pieces back, helping both lines. I haven't checked out the Friday practice report, but if they can get back their all-world safety, Kyle Hamilton, if they can get him back, I could see the Ravens putting together a game plan that they pull off the upset. They're at home.
Wow.
Rams traveling again. Rams coming off a couple of days of extra rest after playing on Thursday night, but they didn't look great against a banged-up 49ers team. So this is a team that couldn't take advantage of the last time they had an injured foe. So if I'm going to go with a big, bold prediction, that again, I probably won't have the Huevos Rancheros to actually make in the pick'em, but Ravens 27, Rams 24. I'll go with that. All right, that's our Week 6 NFL entrance survey. Text in. We got the six-pack coming up, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you have a question for Marsh or I, send it in. We'll do part 1 of the six-pack next in the Fast Lane.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
All right, time for part one of the Sports Six Pack with Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you have any questions for us, send it in. Marsh, question one, please.
Question number one.
First one comes from Arnold Water Tower. If you had a perfect weekend planned with hockey games on Friday, Saturday, and then football on Sunday, where is the hockey game on Friday that you're going to? And the same for Saturday. Sunday, where are you going for football?
So we're traveling.
I would assume so.
Ooh, okay. And I'm assuming this is kind of by car, right? Like, we got to put some limitations on this. It's not like we have a private jet and we're flying all over the place, no?
I mean, this is a hypothetical situation. We could put ourselves on a PJ.
Okay.
We could.
Okay, well, let's do that then.
We're doing the PJ.
So, Blues and who? I wouldn't say Enterprise Center because we've done it. So what would be what's one of the best environments in hockey?
This is what I was thinking, and I'm gonna add a wrinkle to this situation. Friday night Blues game against the Nashville Predators. Saturday road game, Mizzou takes on Vanderbilt. And then, at least for me, a Sunday football game where the Vikings travel to Tennessee and they play the Titans. That would be my ideal weekend for sports, which would include being down in Nashville, Tennessee, having a good time after the games and whatnot.
Okay.
That sounds like a fun weekend for me.
Gotcha. All right. Blues, Blackhawks.
Okay.
Enterprise.
Oh, you're staying in St. Louis?
Yeah, just, I don't.
Is it a home and home?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather be with Blues fans than, but the rivalry. So Blues, Blackhawks, Ohio State, Michigan. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Chicago. Okay, we'll go to Chicago
at the United Center.
Yeah.
Have you've been there for a hockey game?
I have. Yes,
it's awesome.
It is. In fact, I got Bobby Hull's autograph there.
Okay.
He was sitting in front of my dad and I when I was little. I was like 6 or 7.
Okay.
6, 7. All right, so Blues, Blackhawks in Chicago Friday night. Then Michigan, Ohio State at the Big House on Saturday. And why don't we go with, I mean, you got the private jet, right?
Yeah. You can go anywhere.
Then I got to go to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Okay. I have to. I haven't been there.
Yeah.
For little Falcon Saints.
Here's another scenario that I could do. I'll throw another wrinkle into this.
Please do.
Blues. Actually, okay. Blues, Blackhawks in Chicago Friday night.
Okay.
We are in October, and we get a day baseball game. Cardinals, Cubs, playoff baseball.
Wow.
Playoff baseball Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
At Wrigley. And then Sunday, the Vikings are taking on the Bears.
That's a pretty good one for you.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I like it.
Yes.
All right.
Question number 2.
Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
From the 314, how would you guys feel about an NCAA football madness style playoff? Top 20 teams at the end of the year, each battle each other bracket style. Doesn't matter what conference you are in.
I like the last part of that, where the conference doesn't necessarily matter. But I mean, I you know what? I guess I'm assuming that based on this text message, you do have some sort of rankings, right? Like you have some sort of rankings 1 through 20 to set it up where you have an actual number 1 seed and a number 20 seed. Maybe you got some buys mixed in. I'd be good with that. Do I think it's necessary? No. Would it be fun because it's more college football playoff action? Yeah. But as we saw last year, doesn't mean the games are going to be great. See, I think that's the difference. I'm willing to say, hey, this could be very entertaining. Mm-hmm. I want more playoff football. But I also understand you might not get great games. You might get some really bad blowouts for the first 2 rounds. I get that, right?
Football and basketball are so different because, you get these lesser teams, not as popular teams. They come in, they find ways to win because all year they're playing a team game. Mm-hmm. That's how they win.
Yep.
And you have to have a little bit of luck involved as well.
Yes.
I don't feel like it's the same with football.
I agree. It depends. Yeah, it depends on the matchup. I think home and road matters a lot more. Obviously, you're playing neutral court in March when you got the NCAA tournament going on. From an I'll recap. From an entertainment standpoint, yes, I'm in. But I also understand that it's not necessary to crown a champion that way. And I also realize that you might get some bad football in round 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. You might. You also might get some upsets that make it fun.
Question number 3.
Interesting one here from the 719. Which slow athlete is most frustrating to you? The golfer who stands over his ball and wags his tail 26 times like Patrick Cantley? Rafael Nadal, who bounces his ball 30 times before serving, or a slow relief pitcher like Jonathan Papelbon, who just stares at the batter?
Boy, those are all annoying. But the one that irked me the most as you were reading that off was Nadal. Like just bouncing constantly like that would drive me insane.
I think one that's not on here, and it's a little different because what is happening within the play is fast, but a quarterback that holds onto the ball too long can't stand it.
At least he's gonna get his head taken off though at some point.
Yeah, but you don't like that when he's your quarterback.
Oh no, yeah, that's awful. Yeah,
throw the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take the sack.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to get sacked, then don't throw the ball away because then you're going to cost your team another 15 yards if that ball doesn't go over the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. I would say the Rafael Nadal thing.
618 says, what about Nomar Garciaparra adjusting his batting gloves after every pitch?
You know what? G-Dog in the Snake Pit just said, can we add Skip Schumacher adjusting his gloves after every pitch? But yeah, Nomar was bad with that. He may have been the worst. Must have had a little OCD thing going on, though.
Yeah, right. It's all like, I don't know if it's superstition, but you find what makes you comfortable at the plate or whatever you're doing, whatever sport you're playing, you find what makes you comfortable. And if that's part of your routine, then you do it. Sometimes it takes longer than others and people get annoyed at it. Same thing with Nadal. Same thing with golfing. Mm-hmm. Now me, Anthony, I just go up there and swing it because I know I could take a million practice swings.
Ain't gonna matter.
And I know that ball's still gonna slice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have part 2 of the Sports Six Pack coming up, so keep those questions coming in. 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six Pack next. Hey, there's still some time to head out to Auto Centers Nissan this month to take advantage of 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, and no payments for 3 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue, Pathfinder, and Murano. All 3 built in the United States. All 3 can be found on the lot at Auto Centers Nissan out in Herculaneum. That's right, no tricks, just scary good deals when it comes to the Scary Good Deals event happening at Auto Centers Nissan in Herculaneum, Missouri. They're just minutes from South County. You can start online at autocentersnissan.com, but when you do head down there in person, know that you will find the exact vehicle that you are looking at online right there in the dealership. You're not having to travel around and go to different lots and, worry about whether or not the vehicle vehicle is going to be there. Plus, all new Nissans are backed by a complimentary lifetime warranty and a 30-day return promise from Auto Centers. And if you already own a Nissan, bring it in for service for your first oil change, and that is bring it in for service, and your first oil change is free. It doesn't matter if you bought the vehicle from Auto Centers Nissan. Just bring it in for service if you own a Nissan, and your first oil change is free. So don't wait. The good deals, the scary good deals won't last forever. They'll end at the end of the month. So check it out online at AutoCentersNissan.com. When you do head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues will look for their first win of the season tomorrow as they take on the Calgary Flames. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 2. Puck drop is at 3. We did talk with our Blues insider with The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, diving into last night's 5-0 loss to the Minnesota Wild. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Tonight, we have Game 5 of the ALDS between the Seattle Mariners and the Detroit Tigers. Pregame starts at 6:30. First pitch will be at 7:08. Maybe J.P. Crawford can come up with 2+ home runs. And who knows? Tarek Skubal could strike out 15-plus Mariners. If you missed that part of the show, definitely go back to the podcast and check it out. But we have part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack coming up next. Get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six-Pack is next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
All right, part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack as we come down the home stretch here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Marsh, why don't you hit us with question 4?
Question number 4.
From the 314, who has the best mascot in all of sports?
The best mascot in all of sports. Wow. I feel like you kind of got to pay tribute to the classics like the gorilla, the Phoenix Suns gorilla.
Don't forget the chicken, the San Diego chicken.
Sure, the Philly Fanatic. Like if you want to go old school, yeah, the San Diego chicken's good.
Always the answer too at trivia.
Yeah, very true.
Until it's not.
Good call. I hate Ohio State, but like Brutus the Buckeye gets a lot of love. My favorite's probably Benny the Bull, though. Benny the Bull,
yeah.
Especially when the Bulls, like during the 90s run, Benny the Bull. He's hilarious. He's a showman. He's acrobatic.
Yeah.
Really, everything you want in a mascot.
Who do you think are the top most famous mascots? You brought up Brutus the Buckeye. I feel like he's a famous mascot because of Lee Corso on College Game Day.
Yeah.
I feel like the BYU the Cougar. The BYU Cougar's pretty popular, doing the push-ups on the tables and jumping through fire and whatnot. And you mentioned some NBA mascots as well.
Do you think, and I apologize in advance to any Penn State alums, but do you think the Penn State Lion's pretty dumb?
Yeah.
It's
kind of scary looking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, you know who else is a really good mascot? The Oregon Duck.
Yeah.
The Oregon Duck's
That's
actually
a good
big
call.
one, too.
I do like the Oregon Duck.
Yeah.
Eggplant emoji, I don't know if he's trying to dig or what, but what about Fire Up Chips? At one point, when I was at CMU, we're the only D1 program without a mascot. That may have changed, but yeah, no mascot.
Colts mascot's pretty good, shaking the belly.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, we got to give love to Fred Bird and Louie.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe not so much Rampage the Ram. Is that his name?
It was Rampage, yeah.
Yeah.
He was okay for a while. You know, when the Rams were here.
Yeah.
Now he's a scumbag.
We get one from the Air Comfort Service text line, the dog from Georgia.
Ugga.
Yeah, okay, so how does that work? Because they have like a mascot that is a mascot, but they also have a real bulldog. Are they both mascots?
I would say yes, but I don't know fully. Okay. I do know the bulldog's name is Ugga, and I can't remember which number they're on. But yeah.
314 says Miami Hurricane Duck is pretty dope.
That's a great one too. Yeah, we left out a bunch.
Yeah. Gritty, he's more recent in terms of mascots. Bowie's a menace. Yeah. The Stanford Tree says a 618.
I don't know if I could go there. What about Freddie the Falcon?
I never heard of him.
What? He goes up on the rafters. Guy's insane. That bird of prey is insane. I'm gonna go Benny the Bull, but man, we got a couple of really good ones.
You know what?
I do like the Oregon Duck.
I'll say Fred Bird was just inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame. Yeah. I mean, come on, local guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Been a staple around town for a while.
Sure.
So
I thought his best work was done in COVID, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what Fred Bird has in store for all of us moving forward. Yeah.
Question number 5.
All right, the 618 says the Blues suck already.
What?
That's tough.
It's been one game.
And I need to drown my sorrows with food.
Okay.
What are some of your guys' go-to restaurants in St. Louis?
I mean, if you're looking for something like, really good but quick, like you're not sitting. It's not a meal that we're not talking about like a meal that you're sitting there and it's like a 3 or 4 course meal and you're going to pay a bunch. But if you're just looking for a quick hitter, boy, can't beat El Maguey or Las Fuentes.
Those are so good.
Solid, man. Every time.
Oh, man.
And I've gotten different. We're talking
El
burritos,
Maguey, yes.
enchiladas, even the nachos. El Maguey's got the classic street nachos.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Man, I grew up on Las Fuentes.
That's good.
That's some good stuff there. Man, I don't know.
Waterboy from the Snake Pit just asked who's picking the pizza tonight. It's Lincoln's.
Yeah.
It's Lincoln's night. And Lincoln does what Killian does. So it's going to be a chain. A popular chain.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't really have a go-to restaurant. I like Joey B's.
Solid.
Yeah, I like Joey B's.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of places that I like.
Yep. Splash Make
Maybe that's why I don't have
chimichangas. Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't have a go-to because I like switching it up.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
If you like Mexican food, if you want some Chinese.
Joey B's got a really good menu though.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So
they used to have they used to have like a firecracker chicken that was awesome. I don't know if they still have it. It's like a chicken sandwich. Solid.
Question number 6.
From the 636, what is your concern level if the Blues drop their first 2 games of the season?
Oh no, I wouldn't be. I would be disappointed, but no chance that I'm going to be concerned. Look what they did last year. I mean, we were concerned damn near all year. We about gave up on their playoff hopes, and then they caught fire. So last night was disappointing. Like I said at the start of the show, I'm not going to sit here and say everybody knows it's one game. Like we don't need to do the qualifying thing,
right?
But when it comes to what we saw, like that was frustrating. That was disappointing, especially off the hype coming into the game.
Yeah,
but no, there's no panic, especially if they lose tomorrow. It's 2 of 82. They got a long way to go here.
Anthony, I don't think you understand that if you want to be a fan of a sports team, you have to ride the highs and lows.
I will in a football season when there's only 16 games.
There's only 81 more games left.
Okay, well, they could still go.
You might blink
79 or they're 80-2. They go 80-2 or 79-3. Hell, they could go 78-4.
Could. That'd be cool.
Are you concerned? You're not concerned.
Am I concerned?
You just asked the question. If
I just asked the questions. They lose tomorrow and they lose like 4-0. I don't know if I'd be concerned, but I wouldn't be happy. That's for sure. And I don't think they would be either. So, you're right. There's a lot of time left for us to nitpick this team. But I really believe that fans are frustrated from what they saw out of the Cardinals this year. And maybe a little bit of that is seeping into what we watched last night out of the Blues, where you had so much hype and so much excitement for this team because they're not the Cardinals.
Right. That's fair.
And you watch them lay an egg on home ice.
Yeah.
And you watch something that's never been done before, them getting shut out in a season opener.
Mm-hmm.
you're probably ticked off.
Yeah, it hits you in the kidneys a little bit.
A little bit, and that hurts.
Absolutely. No, I think you're right. You kind of encapsulated the fan perspective here in St. Louis, where you're coming off another down season for the Cardinals. You can't wait. I mean, look at this, the snake pit with Tolley and Splashback Deuce and, everybody, Waterboy fired up for the hockey season, right? Master Sin, fired up, Chips, and then you lose 5-0. That sucks. Speaking of Splashback Deuce, this is funny. Chicken chimichanga, rice, beans, chips, salsa, and a pitcher of margaritas is my last meal. He goes, my wife likes to ask people what their last meal would be. Maybe I should be worried about that. I think he probably should be.
Do you like...
Especially if she makes it at home for you.
Do you like your margaritas frozen? Or do you need to be on a beach for that to be
I need to be.
Okay.
That's one of those deals where, I got to be on a beach, a when in Rome situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You too?
I'll drink a frozen margarita here in St. Louis. I have no problem doing that. When I was in Springfield for my golf trip over the summer, I got a margarita there. There was this Mexican joint that I've been itching to go to for like the past 3 years. We finally went there, and I got a frozen margarita, and it was a banana flavored one, but it tasted just like Mountain Dew.
Ooh.
It tasted like a Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
I do like Mountain Dew.
Frozen margarita. I went up to the lady. I said, you need to change the label of this because it tasted nothing like bananas. It tasted everything like Mountain Dew Baja Blast, which is a completely different flavor.
That's very true. I like that.
It was
All
good.
Right. Did we get to the
good.
6?
We did. Yeah.
All right. Nice job, guys. Well done. Well, time to wrap up a show on a Friday here. Been a lot of fun. Talked a little football. Shared a few laughs. Maybe some tears. Time to put a bow on this thing next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, Jamie, Carey, both traveling. Appreciate everybody being tuned in today. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast. Available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts brought to you by Shaver Door Company. All right, what'd you learn today?
Well, I feel like you had the same reaction that I just had when I saw someone walk past our studio, and the thought was, wow, there's actually someone else here other than us on a Friday.
And it's Tim Virgin from Casey, our sister station.
Yeah.
Still working on a Friday.
So that's what I learned, is that we are not the only two people in this building.
I'm shocked, honestly, a little disturbed, because it looked like the entire building was completely cleared out. Just Marsh and I. Now, Marsh, what I learned today is that you and I can bond over some Mexican food here in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As soon as I threw out the two restaurants that I did, you were all over it.
So, yeah.
Not surprising.
Grew up on Las Fuentes, and then when I moved, there wasn't one out where I lived at the time, and El Maguey became that spot. So, as a child, it was Las Fuentes, and then as I became an adult, it was El Maguey. Love both of those places.
Yeah, solid. Excellent. All right, what do we got for criticisms and compliments?
All right, we get a text from the 636. Great show, guys. I love Jamie and Carey, but it was nice to hear just the two of you for the last part of the show. Have a great weekend.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. Marsh does as well, I'm sure. Thank you. It's a nice little mix-up. I mean, we love having the full show. I feel like we were able to maybe dive into some of the matchups a little bit more today.
From the 314, I listen every day and can't imagine listening to another sports radio show. Love you guys. Have a great weekend, and let's go Blues.
We love you as well. Thank you.
Curb Stomp says another great Fastlane week, gentlemen.
It has been a fun week. The lead up to the Blues was fun. Result, not so much, but the lead up was fun. And we had some good sports this week as well.
Yeah, we did.
It started off, unfortunately, with the Chiefs losing in the manner that they did, but that created some storylines. The playoff games have been great. And again, the lead up was great.
Well, and we have more excitement this weekend. I know tomorrow afternoon will be me on the couch with multiple TVs on, watching college football.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had the Blues game.
What a slate tomorrow in college football plus the Blues game. Holy smokes.
It's going to be fun.
Damn right.
From the 636, great show, fellas. Where did you say you got that frozen margarita that tasted like Mountain Dew? So that was a place in Springfield, Illinois. I would love to tell you what it's called. I know how to spell it. I have no idea how to say it.
Okay, fair.
That's all I can say. It starts with an X.
It starts with an X?
Yeah.
This Mexican place that starts with an X?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No idea how to say it. From the 314, now I'm going for Mexican food. Thanks a lot, guys.
I know. I told Marsh we got the Stalter family Friday night pizza. It's my man Lincoln's pick. And yet I told him, I go, all I'm thinking about now is some street nachos. They don't work together, Marsh.
No.
Like when you start thinking street nachos and you're going to get pizza, it just don't work. But I got to be true. Plus Lincoln.
God, he would be devastated if you switched it up on him.
And here's the thing, too. Lincoln not only, when he gets upset, he gets real pissed.
He might double punch you.
He double punches people, namely Killian.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get the old double punch from Lincoln on this because I didn't come home with his favorite pizza. Mm-hmm. What kind of father would I be? All right, let's do some 3 stars.
All right.
It's time for the Fastlane's 3 stars of the day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
Marsh was the name of the place, Ex-Cheetah. That's what Splashback Deuce.
Maybe.
Okay.
Ex-Cheetah, Cheetah, doesn't matter. We also say you could have pizza nachos or something like that. Anyways.
Right.
Nacho pizza. That's what it is. Nacho pizza. That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah. All right, let's get to our 3 stars. 3rd star of the day, we're going to give it to Anthony Bartman.
Yeah.
Anthony Bartman. Yes.
Screwed up the Cubs, didn't I? Just like him.
2nd star goes out to mascots.
Yeah. Man,
we those mascots.
The listeners came through with a lot of names we forgot.
1st star of the day for being in studio, Jeremy Rutherford.
JR. Always love having JRN. Hey, everybody have a great weekend. We appreciate you listening from either Snake Pit, of course, in your car, wherever you are. Have a great weekend. See you.